Baseball is brought to you by Warren Law PC. Warren Law PC has served Round Rock and surrounding communities since 2001. We're proud of our community involvement, commitment to continuing education, and individualized representation. Whether you're looking for an attorney in Round Rock, an attorney in Georgetown, or an attorney in Austin, we represent clients throughout Central Texas and the North Austin, Texas metro area, including the counties of Williamson and Travis, and the cities of Austin, Round Rock, Georgetown, Cedar Park, Leander, Hutto, Taylor, and Pflugerville. Warren Law PC specializes in business law, estate planning, real estate law, and mediation services. For more information, call 512-769-3595 or check out our website at www.roundrocktexaslaw.com.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Georgetown High School in Eagle Field. I'm Wally Harmon here on SHN Sports as we bring you Georgetown Eagle baseball in the playoffs here in the area round against the A&M Consolidated Tigers. Thanks in part in full to Warren Law PC, the sponsors that bring you Georgetown Eagle baseball free of charge on our YouTube stream here in the playoffs. So a special shout out to our sponsor for the area series here in Warren Law PC. A&M Consolidated comes into the ball game 18-10 on the year. They finished 10-4 in District 21. They are out of 5A Region 3 District number 21. Magnolia West, Montgomery, Lake Creek, A&M Consolidated, and Montgomery, the four teams that qualified for the playoffs out of District 21. Your Georgetown Eagles come to the ball game 22-12-1. They finished District 13-1. They represent 5A Region 3 District number 23. And Georgetown, Elgin, Pflugerville, and Eastview, the four teams out of District 23 that were represented in the playoffs. In the by-district round in those two districts, District 21, A&M Consolidated, they beat the Belton Tigers 2-0 in their best of 3 series. Magnolia West beat the Killeen Kangaroos 2-0 in that best of 3 series. Lake Creek out of Montgomery beat a Killeen Shoemaker in a 1-game head-to-head face-off. They beat them in that game to advance. And then Lake Belton out of District 22 beat the 4th seed out of District 21, Montgomery, 2-0 to advance. So out of District 21, Magnolia West, Montgomery, Lake Creek, and A&M Consolidated all advanced into the area playoffs. Coach Jordan Vieira and manager Jared Frimmel head to home plate to meet with the 4-man umpire crew and the head coach of the A&M Consolidated Tigers, Ryan Leonardton. The Georgetown High School team that came out of District 23 in that series number 1 in by-district play, Georgetown beat Navarro out of Austin in District 24, 2-0. McCallum was the only victor over a District 23 team as they beat the Eastview Patriots in 2 great epic battles between those two teams. They beat them 2-0 to advance. Elgin beat Crockett out of Austin ISD in the 1-game series, best of the winner take all and advance. Elgin advanced there, and then the Pflugerville Panthers upset Lhasa, the number 2 seed out of District 24, 2-0. So the Pflugerville Panthers stay alive. The area matchups between these two districts and their opponents, Georgetown and A&M Consolidated face off. Georgetown, the winner out of District 23, takes on the 3rd-seeded team out of District 21 here in the Consolidated Tigers. The Elgin Wildcats take on Lake Belton. That battle between those two teams. Magnolia West will face off. The winner of District 21 will face off against the 3rd seed out of District 23 between the Pflugerville Panthers. And then Lake Creek High School out of District 21. The 2nd-place team will face off against McCallum out of District 24. So a lot of baseball out there as baseball moves into round number 2. A game tonight here at Georgetown High School. Weather permitting, we'll be on the road at 7 p.m. at A&M Consolidated for Game 2. And if needed, Game 3 will be back here at Georgetown High School at 2 p.m. on Saturday. Options for tomorrow if the field is unplayable in College Station due to all this rain in the area over the last week and few days. The standby plan will be a 5 p.m. start on the road at Navasota, who has an all-turf field and the facilities to be able to handle these two crowds. As A&M Consolidated, a good crowd pouring in here on the road, and a great Georgetown crowd, as usual, filling the bleachers here for the hometown Georgetown Eagles. Well, I think it's time we'll go ahead and head to our starting lineups, and they are always brought to us by...
Today's starting lineups are brought to you by Georgetown Lumber and Supply. Georgetown Lumber and Supply, located at 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas, serves general contractors, subcontractors, and do-it-yourselfers. We specialize in dimensional lumber, decking, siding, door and windows, hand-hewn timbers, KDAT lumber, and corbels. Hometown service like none other. Visit us at 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas, or visit our website at gtownlumberandsupply.com.
The A&M Consolidated Tigers head coach by Ryan Leonardton. Assistant coaches B.J. Burton, Aaron Edwards, Luke Calvert, and Todd Wellman. The starting lineup, as chosen by head coach Ryan Leonardton. Batting first, playing right field, number 14, Kai Hood. Batting second at shortstop, number 2, Joaquin Costa. Batting third, the third baseman, number 10, Nathan Hodge. Batting fourth, the first baseman, number 23, Cole Bentz. Batting fifth, in center field, number 9, Trace Meadows. Batting sixth, the catcher, number 18, Trey Walker. Batting seventh, the designated hitter, number 11, Clayton Kurtz. Batting eighth, in left field, number 6, Cannon Kieschnick. And batting ninth and playing second base, number 4, Clayton Eli. On the mound for the Consol Tigers is number 22, Sam Nitsky. Nitsky will be on the mound for the Tigers. So in the Tigers lineup, Hood, Costa, and Hodge in the top third, Bentz, Meadows, and Walker in the middle third, Kurtz, Kieschnick, and Eli in the bottom third. The Georgetown Eagles are coached by Jordan Vieira. Assistant coaches Chad Payne, David Durrell, Mike Cockrell. Managers Jake Bachman, the sophomore, and Jared Frimmel. The student trainer Avery Mon. The stat girls Carter Campbell, Grace King, Nicole Witt, and Ruby Hellman. The starting lineup for your Georgetown Eagles as selected by head coach Jordan Vieira. Leading it off, playing center field, the junior, number 17, Devin Peterson. Batting second at third base, the senior, number 4, Brady Peters. Batting third at second base, number 20, that's the junior Mighty Mouse, Talon Ball. Batting fourth at first base, the big left-handed hitting number 21, the junior Riley Leiniger. Batting fifth at shortstop, the senior number 2, Eli Hellman. Batting sixth in left field, number 10, Andrew Nations. Batting seventh, the DH, the junior number 11, Jackson Rainey. Batting eighth and behind the plate, the senior number 7, Chance Pernica. And batting ninth in right field, the senior number 8, Jacob Faltasak. On the bump to start the ballgame for your Georgetown Eagles is the senior right-hander, number 12, Nolan Jondahl. Jondahl on the mound for your Eagles. So we'll take a quick break, have the national anthem. When we come back, we'll get ready for game number 1 between these two teams. Thank you for joining us here on SHN.
Morrow from Morrow broadcast booth is sponsored by our friend and longtime supporter Matt Morrow at borrowfrommorrow.com. Matt Morrow and his team is dedicated to providing the best mortgage experience possible by offering easy-to-use mortgage tools, including our handy mobile app, competitive rates, and assistance from a certified mortgage advisor. Matt understands the local markets, has access to a wide variety of loan programs, and is ready to guide you through the process. Your family, your future, our focus. For your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow. Borrow from Morrow. For more information, visit borrowfrommorrow.com. NMLS number 464148.
And we're back here at Eagle Field, live from Georgetown High School. Thanks to Warren Law PC for bringing you this area round between the Georgetown Eagles and the A&M Consolidated Tigers. Tonight's ball game here at Georgetown High School at Eagle Field. Tomorrow night in Bryan College Station at A&M Consolidated, right now on the schedule. As long as the field stays playable there in at Bryan College Station area, will be a 7 p.m. start. But stay tuned to the social medias. Any kind of rain that makes the field unplayable, the coaches will make that determination early on, and Coach Vieira will put that out on Twitter and Facebook pages. It'll be moved to Navasota at 5 p.m., and so be watching for that tomorrow to see the updated schedule if it does get updated. And now we get ready to go here in the top of the first inning. Nolan Jondahl will work out of the windup on the first base side of the rubber for your Eagles. The first batter in is number 14, Kai Hood, the sophomore, bats left-handed, as he leads it off here in the top of the first for the Consolidated Tigers. He takes the first strike on the inside part of the plate for a called strike. 0-1 the count now to the sophomore, Kai Hood. Jondahl from the windup, the 0-1 pitch, misses low and outside, ball one. The count evens up at 1-1 now to the leadoff batter here in the top of the first inning. Jondahl from the windup, the 1-1 pitch, high and outside, ball two. 2-1 the count. Hood, Costa, and Hodge due up here in the top of the first for the Tigers. Hood back in for the left side. Jondahl from the windup, the 2-1 pitch. Inside, just misses for ball three. 3-1 the count now to Kai Hood, the right fielder. Sophomore back in, ready to go. Jondahl gets a sign from Pernica. And the 3-1 pitch. Right down Main Street for a called strike. And that'll run the count full now. 3 balls and 2 strikes to the right fielder, Hood. Jondahl with the look in, a shake off, and now ready to rock and roll. The payoff pitch. And a swing and a miss. Strike 3 for out number 1. Nolan Jondahl gets behind in the at-bat. 3 balls and 1 strike. Comes back to strike out Hood for out number 1. And that'll bring up the shortstop, Joaquin Costa, number 2 for the Tigers. The junior will step in from the right side. 1 out here in the top of the first as the sun makes its way through the clouds. Down the third base side from the windup. The first pitch and a swing and a miss. Strike 1 to Joaquin Costa. One strike on Costa, the 0-1 pitch. Inside, just misses for ball 1. The count evens at 1-1 now. The junior shortstop, Joaquin Costa, back in from the right side. 1 out here in the top of the first. Game number 1 of this area playoff series. The 1-1 pitch, and Costa fouls it back out of play. And the count moves to 1 ball and 2 strikes now with 1 out. Bases empty. Georgetown, the home team in the Baby Blues. Eagles in across the front of the jerseys in script lettering in white. The light blue hats with the white front, the G logo, and the dark blue bill. Baby blue pants with the white and Georgetown blue striping. The 1-2 pitch just misses inside and evens it out now at 2 balls and 2 strikes to Costa. On deck, the third baseman, Nathan Hodge, for the Tigers. The 2-2 pitch. Breaking pitch, where that missed, nobody knows, but now it's a full count. A beautiful pitch there on the 2-2 count by Jondahl. Costa takes a deep breath, steps back in from the right side. The payoff pitch to Costa. And that one misses outside, ball 4. So a 1-out walk. Has a runner on base for the Tigers. With 1 out here in the top of the first. The third baseman, number 10, Nathan Hodge, will step in. Hodge, a junior, bats from the right side, steps in here with 1 out and a runner at first base. As Costa leads off first, being held on by Leininger. Jondahl moves to the stretch here, the base runner on. A look at first, now comes set. First pitch, low and outside, ball 1. Defensively for the Eagles, Nations in left, Peterson in center. Falta second, right field. Peters at third base, Hellman at short. Ball at second, and Leininger at first base. Pernica behind the plate. And Nolan Jondahl on the mound for the Eagles. Jondahl comes set. The 1-0 pitch to Hodge will come after a throw over to first base. And Costa dives back in safely there. So far, a beautiful night for baseball. A little cloud covered. The sun is now broken through down the third baseline. As you see it across the screen there, as the sun will play havoc on players in right field, second base, first base. Another throw over to first base. Costa dives back in safely there. Onto the tag from Leiniger. One ball, no strikes to Hodge, the number 3 hitter in the Tiger lineup. John Dahl comes set. Another throw over to first base, and Costa dives back in safely there. So John Dahl keeping the runner close at first base. Leiniger keeps him held on. Peters even with the bag at third base. Ball and helmet. Normal depth there in the middle infield. John Dahl comes set. Runner off on the pitch. It's in there for a called strike, the throw down. And Hellman will bring it down as he lands on Costa. Hopefully Costa's all right. Eli Hellman sailed up high to make the catch to keep it from going into center field and came down right on top of Costa. He's still second base, so now a base runner in scoring position here in the top of the first for the Tigers on that stolen base. 1-1 the count now to Hodge. Cole Bentz, the first baseman, on deck for the Tigers. John Dahl comes set in the stretch. A look back at second base. The 1-1 pitch. Low and outside, ball 2. 2-1 the count now to the third baseman, Nathan Hodge. 1 out here in the top of the first. Strikeout to start off the inning of Kai Hood, and then a 1-out walk to Joaquin Costa. He stole second base, sits down at second base now. 2-1 the count to Hodge. Look back at second base. Now the 2-1 pitch. A swing and a miss. Strike 2. Hodge took a healthy cut at that one. Came up empty, and now a 2-2 count with 1 out and a runner at second base. The Tigers, the visitors here in the first ball game of this best-of-3 series, in the all-black uniforms with maroon and white striping down the pants. Maroon numbers outlined in white on the back of the jerseys. John Dahl comes set. A look back at second base. The 2-2 pitch. Outside corner just misses low, I guess. Now the count goes full. A full count now with 1 out to Nathan Hodge. Costa leads off second base. Reached on a 1-out walk. Stole second base. John Dahl gets a sign from Pernica. Comes set in the stretch. The payoff pitch. And Hodge will pop it back out of play and stay alive in the at-bat. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. Through district play, John Dahl threw 33 innings, had 6 victories, started 6 games, won all 6 of those. An ERA of 1.061 in those 14 ball games, a batting average of 142 against. John Dahl comes set, a look back at second base. The payoff pitch will come after a throwback to second base. Goes to in there, standing. 323 down the lines, 385 to the deepest alleys of right and left center field. 400 straightaway center field here at Eagle Field. John Dahl comes set in the stretch. A look back at second base. The payoff pitch to Hodge. And he'll pop it back out of play as he fought off the breaking pitch there. May have found off ball 4. So a little help there for John Dahl and the Eagles. Hodge fouls it off, and now the count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. Here in the top of the first, 1 out. The area playoff series brought to you by Warren Law PC. John Dahl gets the sign and comes set in the stretch. The payoff pitch and a breaking pitch hit into left field. Andrew Nations backs up and to his right about 5 or 6 steps, and he'll settle under it, make the catch for out number 2. And Costa cruises back to second base. F7 in the book to retire Hodge. And that'll bring up the first baseman, number 23, Cole Bentz. He'll step in with a runner on second base and 2 outs here in the top of the first. Cole Bentz, the senior, steps in from the right side. And that'll move Trace Meadows, the center fielder, on deck for the Tigers. John Dahl comes set in the stretch. A look back at second base. The first pitch to Bentz. And that'll hit him. And Cole Bentz will head down to first base. So now runners on first and second. 2 base runners on now on a walk and a hit by pitch. And that'll bring up the center fielder, number 9, Trace Meadows. Meadows, the junior, steps in from the left side. Runners on first and second. 2 outs here in the top of the first. John Dahl from the stretch. A look back at second base. The first pitch to Meadows. Misses high for ball 1. Costa leads off second. Bentz leads off first. Hellman back and forth from shortstop to keep Costa close. John Dahl comes set in the stretch. Looks back at second base again, but now Meadows will call timeout. Step out and gather himself, reset. 1 ball, no strikes. 2 outs here in the top of the first. Runners on second and first base. Joaquin Costa walked and stole second base. Bentz hit by a pitch. The 1-0 pitch down in the turf. Gets behind Pernica all the way back to the screen. And that'll allow Costa and Bentz to move up to second and third base. Call it a passed ball. So both runners advance on that pass ball. And now the 1-2-0 pitch fouled off down the third baseline, out of play. The count goes to 2 balls and 1 strikes now to Trace Meadows, the center fielder for the Tigers. 2 outs here in the top of the first. Now runners on second and third. John Dahl back to the windup. The 2-1 pitch. Ground ball hit down the third baseline. Peters will flag it down in the foul territory. And the count goes even now. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Trace Meadows with Trey Walker, the catcher, on deck for the Tigers. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the first. The Tigers trying to make some noise here in the top of the first inning of game number 1. John Dahl from the windup. The 2-2 pitch. Inside corner. Oh, my goodness. And now a full count. Not sure where that one missed. Oh, my goodness. So now a full count to Trace Meadows. 2 outs and the bases, runners on second and third. The payoff pitch, ground ball hit to first. It's going to hop. Leininger fields it, and he'll be on a race to first base, and he'll beat Meadows. 3 unassisted in the book to retire the Tigers without giving up any runs here in the top of the first. No runs on no hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on base after half an inning. A&M Consolidated 0, Georgetown coming up to bat. Quick break, back with more Eagle Baseball on SHN.
First inning of today's game is brought to you by borrowfrommorrow.com. Matt Morrow and his team is dedicated to providing the best mortgage experience possible by offering easy-to-use mortgage tools, including our handy mobile app, competitive rates, and assistance from a certified mortgage advisor. Matt understands the local markets, has access to a wide variety of loan programs, and is ready to guide you through the process. Your family, your future, our focus. For your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow. Borrow from Morrow. For more information, visit borrowfrommorrow.com. NMLS number 464148.
As we move to the bottom of the first, Nolan John Dahl gets out of trouble in the top of the first. Thanks to a nice play there by Riley Leininger. 3 unassisted to retire Meadows for out number 3 to leave runners stranded at second and third base for the Tigers. So no hits given up, no runs. Stranding those 2 runners, and now the Eagles will come up to bat here in the bottom of the first. Peters, and Ball due up for Georgetown. They'll face off against the senior right-hander Sam Nitsky for the Tigers. Peterson will lead off. He's batting .436 in district play in the 14 games of district. A .436 batting average. 8 RBIs, has scored 18 runs, walked 13 times, only struck out 4. 16 stolen bases on the year. The Eagles love to get runners on and start to put pressure on opposing pitchers. And that's what they'll try to do here in the bottom of the first. Defensively, for the Tigers here in the bottom of the first, Kieschnick in left, Meadows in center, Hood in right. Hodge at third base, Costa at second base, Eli at Costa at shortstop, Eli at second base, and Bentz at first base, Walker behind the plate, and Sam Nitsky, the senior right-hander, on the mound for the Tigers here in game number 1 of this area series, the best of 3 between the Georgetown Eagles and the A&M Consolidated Tigers. Tigers get ready to close out the warm-ups here before the bottom of the first. Warren Law PC, proud sponsor of the area playoff series, brings you Georgetown baseball in the playoffs free of charge here on our SHN website, YouTube channel. So we appreciate Warren Law PC for their sponsorship. The throw down from Walker, and now the Eagles will come up here in the bottom of the first. The junior center fielder, number 17, Devin Peterson, will step in from the right side to lead things off here in the bottom of the first for the Georgetown Eagles. Coach Vieira down at third base. Coach Durrell down at first base for the Eagles. Nitsky will work from the stretch. The first pitch to Peterson, down low, ball 1. Now you hear the grumbling from the right side of the stands as everyone looks to try to figure out the strike zone here early in the ball game. Nitsky comes set. The 1-0 pitch to Peterson. Down low, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes to the junior center fielder, Devin Peterson. On deck, Brady Peters in the hole, talon ball for the Eagles here in the bottom of the first. Nitsky comes set. The 2-0 pitch. Down low, ball 3. 3-0 the count now. To Devin Peterson, the leadoff man for the Eagles here in the bottom of the first. The Tigers made a little bit of noise in the top of the first, getting a 1-out walk and then a hit by pitch. Had runners at first and second. A pass ball moves them up to second and third. And then Nolan Jondahl worked out of that. Got out of trouble. And no runs given up. The 3-0 pitch is in there for a called strike. 3 balls and 1 strike now to Devin Peterson. Here in the bottom of the first. Nitsky gets the sign from Walker, comes set in the stretch. The 3-1 pitch. Fouled off down towards first base dugout. Now the count runs full on Devin Peterson. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Leading off here in the bottom of the first for the Eagles. Nitsky with a long look in. Now will come set in the stretch. The payoff pitch to Peterson. Peterson will foul it back out of play. Stay alive in the at-bat. So a nice quality at-bat here for the leadoff man for the Eagles. Coach Vieira has talked about that multiple times. Love to see it. A good quality at-bat. At least 6 pitches faced. And Devin Peterson doing a good job here of letting his teammates see multiple pitches from the starter Nitsky to the first batter he faces here in the first ball game of this best of 3 series. Nitsky gets the sign and comes set in the stretch. The payoff pitch. It stays high, ball 4. And Devin Peterson draws a leadoff walk. And that'll bring up Brady Peters. Peters wears number 4. The senior third baseman will step in from the right side. Looks down at first base. The catcher Walker steps out about 3 feet in front of home plate and looks to Nitsky and just, hey, take a deep breath, settle in, we're good. So Nitsky will face off against the senior third baseman, Brady Peters. He steps in, batting .356 through district. 12 RBIs, 12 runs scored. Walked 5 times, struck out twice. Nitsky comes set. Peterson leads off first, being held on by Bentz. The first pitch, Peters squares around a bunt. Pulls it back and takes it. Walker throws back behind Peterson. He lost his footing and barely dives back in safely there at first base. Nitsky asked, it was a ball, so it's a 1-0, the count to Peters. So a good job by Peters there to pull the bat back and take it for a ball. They checked down to first to see if he went. He clearly pulled the bat back, so no way he went around on that one. So now a 1-ball, no strike count to Brady Peters. Peterson leads off first base. Bentz holds him on there. Nitsky a look over. Now comes set in the stretch. Peters squares around a bunt to show the bunt. The third baseman almost even with the mound. Peterson off and running. The pitch off the glove of the catcher, Walker. And Peterson easily still second base. As Walker was trying to anticipate that and come out of his crouch. And a pass ball there allows Peterson to easily steal the base. And now a 2-ball, no strike count to Brady Peters. So now Bentz is going to play up on the grass at first base. Hodge backs up at third base. Now he'll walk in towards the edge of the grass. The middle infield at regular depth. Nitsky comes set. The 2-0 pitch to Brady Peters. Peters squares the bunt, pulls it back and takes it high and inside. Ball 3. So both batters faced by Nitsky here in the bottom of the first inning. He's gone to a 3-0 count. Peterson able to draw a full count walk. Now still second base, and now Brady Peters. A 3-0 count with a runner at second base and no outs here in the bottom of the first. On deck, Talon Ball for the Eagles. Brady Peters back in. Nitsky will come set in the stretch. A look back at second base. The 3-0 count. Peters squares the bunt, pulls it back. Inside corner, called strike 1. So now a 3-1 count to the senior third baseman, Brady Peters. Coach Vieira gives out the signs. Devin Peterson down at second base with no outs. A leadoff walk and a stolen base. Peters back in for the right side. Nitsky will come set in the stretch. Throw to second base, and Peterson dives back in safely there. Under the throw. Costa tries to do the hidden ball trick. Coach Vieira right on top of it, yelling to Peterson, stay on the bag, stay on the bag. And he just told the whole team down in the third base dugout, stay on the bag. Do not get up and come off. As Costa paying attention to see if Peterson was paying attention. Nitsky comes set, the 3-1 pitch to Peters. Squares the bunt. Bunts it foul. Back to the backstop, and now a full count to Brady Peters. So the bunt will be pulled back from Peters here with a full count. So he'll have to protect. Three balls, 2 strikes, no outs, a runner at second base. Brady Peters back in from the right side. Nitsky looks in to get the sign from the catcher, Walker. He'll come set in the stretch. A look back at second base. The payoff pitch. Peters takes it low, ball 4, back-to-back walks. Has runners at first and second base for the Eagles. Here in the bottom of the first inning.
Next up for Georgetown, your second baseman, number 20, Talon Ball.
So now in steps Talon Ball. Coach Vieira talks to him. Off at the G logo there. Moving on deck will be Riley Leininger, the first baseman. Talon Ball steps in. He led the Eagles. Played in all 14 games in district, batted .463, had 19 hits, 19 RBIs, 12 runs scored, walked 5 times, struck out 7. Steps in here with no outs and runners on first and second. Nitsky looks in and now comes set in the stretch. Bentz about 10 feet in at first base, expecting another bunt. Ball squares the bunt. Pulls it back. He'll swing away. Fouls it back to the screen. 0-1 the count to Talon Ball. Hodge stays even at the edge of the grass at third base with the runner at second. Bentz about 5 to 10 feet in at first base in the grass. Peterson leads off second base. Peters off first. Costa trying to keep him close at second base there. Nitsky comes set in the stretch. Ball squares around the bunt. The 0-1 pitch, and Ball bunts it out in front of the mound. Nitsky will field it. His play to third is in time, as Peterson can't get in there quick enough. So the sacrifice bunt does not work. Talon Ball gets to first base on the fielder's choice. Peterson cut down at third base. 1-5 on the putout for out number 1. And in steps Riley Leininger. One out here in the bottom of the first. Leininger steps in from the left side. The junior first baseman throws right, bats left. Leininger steps in here with one out and runners at first and second. Peters at second base. Talon ball at first. Nitsky comes set. The first pitch to Leininger. He lays off and takes the breaking pitch in there for a called strike. 0-1 the count to Riley Leininger. Eli Hellman, the shortstop, on deck for the Eagles. Here in the bottom of the first, one out. Tigers had runners on second and third and one out in the top of the first, but couldn't get a run home. The Eagles runners on first and second. The 0-1 pitch to Leininger. He'll take it in there for a called strike. 0-2 the count now to Riley. Leininger through district, batted .412 for the Eagles. 14 hits. Had 9 RBIs, 16 runs scored, walked 11 times, struck out only 3 times in 14 ball games. Steps back in, no balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. Nitsky comes set, a look back at second base. He'll throw to second base, and Brady Peters dives back in safely. One out here in the bottom of the first. The Eagles are runners on first and second base. Leininger an 0-2 count as Nitsky comes set in the stretch. A look back at second base. The 0-2 pitch. Inside corner, called strike 3. Not sure where the other one missed in the top of the inning, but Leininger called out on 3 straight pitches for out number 2. And that'll bring up Eli Hellman, the first strikeout of the ball game for Nitsky. Hellman will step in here with runners on first and second and 2 outs. In the bottom of the first inning. Talon ball leads off first. Brady Peters leads off second base. Hellman steps in from the right side. Nitsky comes set in the stretch. A look back at second base. First pitch. Breaking pitch in there for a called strike. 0-1 the count to Eli Hellman with Andrew Nations on deck. Should Hellman be able to extend this inning here with 2 outs in the bottom of the first. Runners at first and second base. Nitsky comes set. The 0-1 pitch to Hellman. Hellman fouls it back to the screen. 0-2 now the count. To the senior shortstop, Eli Hellman. Hellman a .351 batting average through district. Played in 13 of 14 ball games. 8 RBIs, 12 runs scored. Walked 7 times, struck out 5. Nitsky comes set. A look back at second base. The 0-2 pitch. Hellman chases it down in the turf for strike 3. No, he fouled it off. And it hit the turf, so Hellman going to stay alive. And he immediately turned to the home plate umpire. I fouled it off. So the at-bat continues for Eli Hellman. Chases that breaking ball, fouls it off, and Walker unable to hold on to it. So Hellman stays alive in the at-bat. No balls and 2 strikes. Two outs here in the bottom of the first. Ball off first, Peters off second. Nitsky comes set to look at second base. The 0-2 pitch. And Hellman hits it right back towards the mound. Nitsky falls down, bats it down, now picks it up and tosses the first in time. For out number 3. 1-3 on the putout to retire the Eagles here in the bottom of the first. And both teams make some noise, but no one gets any run across. No runs on no hits. No errors and 2 runners left on after 1 complete inning. Georgetown 0, Consolidated 0. More Eagle baseball after this on SHN.
This presentation of Georgetown Eagles playoff baseball is brought to you by Warren Law PC. Warren Law PC has served Round Rock and surrounding communities since 2001. We're proud of our community involvement, commitment to continuing education, and individualized representation. Whether you're looking for an attorney in Round Rock, an attorney in Georgetown, or an attorney in Austin, we represent clients throughout Central Texas and the North Austin, Texas metro area, including the counties of Williamson and Travis, and the cities of Austin, Round Rock, Georgetown, Cedar Park, Leander, Hutto, Taylor, and Pflugerville. Warren Law PC specializes in business law, estate planning, real estate law, and mediation services. For more information, call 512-769-3595 or check out our website at www.roundrocktexaslaw.com.
Back here in the SHN broadcast booth, brought to you by Matt Morrow. For all your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow, borrowfrommorrow.com. Proud sponsor of the SHN broadcast booth this season for Eagle Baseball. He brought you the first inning, now the second inning. Brought to you by G-Town Lumber and Supply as Nolan Jondal takes the mound for inning number 2. 27 pitches thrown in the first inning, struck out 1, walked 1, hit 1 batter. And he'll face off against the 6, 7, and 8 hitters in the Tiger lineup, Walker, Kurtz, and Kieschnick. Trey Walker, the catcher, number 18, steps in. A junior for the Tigers. First pitch from Jondal in there for a called strike. 0-1 the count to Trey Walker as he steps back in from the right side. Jondal gets the sign, the 0-1 pitch. And Walker chased that off-speed breaker, and it ended about 1.5 feet short of home plate. Caught the turf and skipped over towards the third base dugout. But the swing and a miss makes it no balls and 2 strikes to the catcher Walker here to lead things off in the top of the second inning. Jondal from the windup, the 0-2 pitch. Up and in, ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes to the leadoff man, Trey Walker. He hits in the number 6 position of the Tiger lineup to lead off the top of the second inning. Jondal from the windup. The 1-2 pitch outside, ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here to Trey Walker to lead off the top of the second. Jondal from the windup, the 2-2 pitch. The breaking pitch just high, ball 3. A full count to the junior catcher Trey Walker with the designated hitter number 11, Clayton Kurtz, on deck for the Tigers. The payoff pitch and a ball hit down the third baseline, and it's fair. Into left field. Walker rounds first base. Nations comes up with it, but Walker's going to stay put at first base. A leadoff single. First hit of the ball game. Walker hits it past the outstretched arms of a diving Brady Peters for the first hit of the ball game. And in steps Clayton Kurtz, the junior designated hitter. He'll hit from the right side for the Tigers. We'll get the courtesy runner here in just a second for the Tigers. Leininger will hold him on at first base. Jondal moves to the stretch. The first pitch to Kurtz. Squares the bunt. That's off the glove of Pernica. Another pass ball gives a free base to the Tigers. So no outs and a runner at second base. The courtesy runner moves up on the ball off the glove of Pernica. Courtesy runner, Gage Boyd, the sophomore, down at second base now. 1 ball, no strikes. Clayton Kurtz. Jondal resets. Works from the first base side of the rubber in the stretch as he gets the sign and comes set. A look back at second base. The 1-0 pitch off the outside part of the plate. Ball 2. Kurtz showed the bunt, pulled it back, took the pitch for a called ball. So 2 balls and no strikes. Here in the top of the second, the leadoff man reaches on a base hit to left field. Down to second on the pass ball. Jondal comes set. The 2-0 pitch. It's a bunt down the third baseline, but it's going to go into foul territory. So the count now, 2 balls and a strike to Clayton Kurtz. On deck, Cannon Kieschnick, the sophomore left fielder for the Tigers. Kurtz back in for the right side. Jondal gets the sign and comes set in the stretch. Look back at second base. The 2-1 pitch off the glove of Pernica. Back to the backstop. And so now a 3-1 count and a runner at third base with no outs. So now the Tigers have the go-ahead run just 90 feet away with no outs here in the top of the second. A 3-1 count to Kurtz. Jondal, the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. So now the count goes full to Kurtz. 3 balls, 2 strikes, no outs here in the top of the second. The leadoff man aboard on a base hit and advances on 2 pass balls all the way to third. And now this pitch popped up on the infield. Peters will call for it. John Dahl gives way. Brady Peters makes the catch in fair territory for out number 1. P5 in the book to retire Kurtz.
Next up for the Tigers, the left fielder, number 6.
That'll bring up the shortstop, the left fielder, number 6, Cannon Kieschnick, the sophomore. He'll step in from the right side with 1 out and a runner at third base for the Tigers. Peters out on the edge of the grass at third base. Leiter up on the edge of the grass at first base. John Dahl stays in the stretch. The first pitch. Breaking pitch in there for a called strike. 0-1 the count to Kieschnick with Clayton Eli, the second baseman, on deck for the Tigers. Kieschnick, the number 8 hitter in the Tiger lineup. Back in from the right side. John Dahl comes set. The 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes to the number 8 hitter, Cannon Kieschnick, the sophomore left fielder for the Tigers. He steps back in. Chokes up as Nolan John Dahl comes set in the stretch. The 0-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss. Pernica does a good job of keeping it in front of him there. And tags Kieschnick for out number 2. The second strikeout of the ballgame for Nolan John Dahl. And a big out there. Now 2 outs with the runner down at third base. And in steps Clayton Eli, the second baseman, the number 9 hitter for the Tigers. Kai Hood moves on deck. The leadoff man for the Tigers. John Dahl stays in the stretch. The first pitch to Eli. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. 0-1 the count to Clayton Eli. The leadoff man, Walker, the catcher, singled to left field. His courtesy runner, Gage Boyd, advanced on 2 pass balls, is down at third base. The 0-1 pitch down low on the turf. Ball 1. 1-1 the count. Nice stop there by Pernica. Keep that one from getting to the backstop as Boyd returns to third base. 1-1 count to the second baseman, Eli. Steps back in for the right side. John Dahl comes set. The 1-1 pitch. Low and outside. Ball 2. 2-1 count now to the senior second baseman, Clayton Eli. John Dahl gets the sign from Pernica, comes set in the stretch. The 2-1 pitch in there for a called strike 2. Eli looked back. He gave up on that one, and that some late action on that breaking ball. He catches the plate for a called strike, and now a 2-2 count with 2 outs. Here in the top of the second. Eli will take time and back out of the box and reset himself. Noise being made here in the stands. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The Eagles trying to escape with no damage done here in the top of the second after the and now Eli back in again after he calls time the second time. John Dahl comes set, wastes no time. The 2-2 pitch. Breaking pitch just misses. And now a full count. Pernica with a nice frame job there, but couldn't get the call. And now 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Boyd, the courtesy runner, down at third base. John Dahl comes set in the stretch. The payoff pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. The Eagles get out of trouble again here in the second inning, thanks to the third strikeout of the ballgame by Nolan John Dahl. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left on base after an inning and a half. Georgetown 0. Consolidated 0. More Eagle baseball after this on SHN.
The second inning of today's game is brought to you by G-Town Lumber and Supply. G-Town Lumber and Supply, located at 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas, serves general contractors, subcontractors, and do-it-yourselfers. We specialize in dimensional lumber, decking, siding, door and windows, hand-hewn timbers, KDAT lumber, and corbels. Hometown service like none other. Visit us at 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas, or visit our website at gtownlumberandsupply.com.
We come back for the bottom of the second inning. The Eagles will bring up the 6, 7, and 8 hitters, Nations, Rainey, and Pernica, to face off against Sam Nitsky. On in his second inning of work. In the first inning, Nitsky struck out 1, walked 2. threw 22 pitches, but left 2 men stranded on base and got out of trouble there in the bottom of the first. And he'll face off against Nations, Rainey, and Pernica here in the second inning. The Eagle fans getting going there in the stands thanks to superfan John Peters. Got the signs going, the flag, the war paint. As your Georgetown Eagles here in the area round of the playoffs. A best of 3 series presented by Warren Law PC. They bring Georgetown Eagle playoff baseball to you free of charge through their sponsorship, and we appreciate them and their sponsorship to keep baseball free as long as we can through the playoffs for your Georgetown Eagles here on SHN. And now Andrew Nations, the junior left fielder, throws left, bats left. He'll step in here from the left side to lead off the bottom of the second inning for the Eagles. Nations steps in, batting .235 on the year. 7 RBIs, 11 runs scored. Nitsky comes set in the stretch. The first pitch at the bottom of the second inning. And Andrew Nations puts it into right field. Base hit down the right field line. Nations, he's going to head to second base around first base. He'll come up and head to second base. Here comes the throw, and Nations slides in safe at second base. A leadoff double for the junior left fielder, Andrew Nations. A slight hesitation from Kai Hood when he picked it up. He was watching to see if Nations was going, and that gave Nations the nod he needed. And now a leadoff double. The Eagles getting business going here in the bottom of the second inning. First hit of the ball game, a beautiful double down the right field line by Andrew Nations. And now Jackson Rainey, the junior designated hitter, steps in for his first plate appearance in the ball game. Steps in from the left side to face off against Nitsky. Nitsky comes set in the stretch. He'll look back at second base a couple of times. That's a balk. There it was. And that'll move Nations up to third base. A call from the first base umpire. And he'll come out to talk to Nitsky, but he called it quickly. There was no hesitation in that one as soon as he doubled it. And Nitsky called for the balk, and he has a peculiar set in his stretch formation. When he comes set, he moves his legs a couple of times, and so it's a very detailed set that he has to come to, and the umpires, with 4 umpires out here tonight, that's watched. And so Andrew Nations now up to third base on the balk. The first pitch to Jackson Rainey, way outside, ball 1. Want to know the count to Jackson Rainey, so the Eagles respond in kind here in the bottom of the second and get the leadoff man all the way to third with no outs. The Tigers strand to their runner at third thanks to a pop out to third base and 2 strikeouts. And now Jackson Rainey back in. Nitsky comes set, the 1-0 pitch. Rainey takes it low for ball 2, 2-0 the count. Chance Pernica, the senior catcher, on deck for the Eagles. Fans starting to make some noise now as the Eagles get the leadoff man into scoring position down 90 feet away with no outs here in the bottom of the second. Rainey back in, ready to go. Nitsky comes set, the 2-0 pitch. Rainey takes it low, ball 3. 3-0 the count now to the DH, Jackson Rainey. Pernica and Faltasek also due up here. In the bottom of the second inning. Game 1 of this best-of-3 series tonight here at Eagle Field in Georgetown. Tomorrow night scheduled for a 7 p.m. start at A&M Consolidated. Saturday, if needed, back here at 2 p.m. The 3-0 pitch, low and in, low, ball 4. So a 4-pitch walk to Jackson Rainey. Has runners on the corners for Georgetown here in the bottom of the second, and that'll bring up Chance Pernica.
Next up for Georgetown, catcher, number 6.
Third walk of the ball game by Nitsky. Now Chance Pernica will step in here for the Eagles. Too many buttons there on the game changer. Pernica steps in, batting .273 in district play. Appeared in 11 out of 14 games. 8 RBIs in district play. A chance here with a man at third base and no outs. Rainey leads off first. Bentz holds him on there. Nitsky comes set. The first pitch to Pernica. Low and outside, ball 1. Faltasek moves on deck for the Eagles, the senior right fielder. Pernica up to bat, the number 8 hitter in the Eagle lineup. The runners on the corners, no outs here in the bottom of the second. Nitsky will come set in the stretch. The 1-0 pitch. It's in there for a called strike. 1-1 the count to Chance Pernica. Andrew Nations down at third base, led off the inning with a double down the right field line. Advanced to third on the balk by Nitsky. And now Rainey reaches on a 4-pitch walk. Runners on the corners. A 1-1 count to Pernica. The 1-1 pitch. Pernica lays off, and it takes it low for ball 2. Two on one to count to Chance Pernica, the senior right-handed hitting catcher. Rainey leads off first. Benz holds him on there. Nations leads off third. The 2-1 pitch. On the outside corner. Throw down behind Rainey at first base. He dives back in safely. It's 2-1 pitch called strike 2 on the outside corner. So a 2-2 count to Pernica. Here in the bottom of the second inning. No outs. Runners on the corners. Georgetown trying to make some noise. Trying to break this scoreless tie. 0-0. Jackson Rainey leads off first as Benz holds him on. Nations leads off third. Nitsky comes set. The 2-2 pitch. Pernica swinging a miss. Strike 3 for out number 1. Second strike out of the ball game for the senior right-hander Sam Nitsky. And in steps Jacob Faltasek. Faltasek, .229 batting average through district. Broke up a no-hitter in the top of the first inning in the by-district playoffs as he was at ninth hitter in the lineup. And when he came up, the Eagles had several runs on the board but had 2 outs and no hits thanks to some walks and a hit by pitch. And Faltasek drove in 2 runs on a base hit to left field. An opportunity here. First pitch to Faltasek. Rainey off and running. Walker will throw down and not in time. The second stolen base of the ball game for the Eagles. The pitch missed for, I believe, ball 1 to Faltasek. We'll wait for the umpire here. Nope, called it a strike. So an 0-1 count to Faltasek. But now runners in scoring position at second and third base. Thanks to Rainey's stolen base there. Second stolen base for the Eagles in the ball game. Nitsky looks in and gets a sign from Walker. Infield in for the Tigers with 1 out. Runners on second and third. The 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Devin Peterson on deck for the Eagles. 1 out here in the bottom of the second inning. Runners on second and third with 1 out. Andrew Nations down at third base. Jackson Rainey at second. The infield all playing up almost to the grass on the infield for the Tigers. Trying to cut down a run at home. Nitsky comes set. Walker stands up out of a crouch. The 0-2 pitch, ground ball out towards short. A dive by the shortstop. He'll flip it over to third base. And a good play there to get the runner, Jackson Rainey. But an RBI ground out. RBI ground ball by Faltasek scores the first run of the ball game. Faltasek reaches on the fielder's choice. An RBI there as Nation scores the first run of the ball game. Georgetown takes the 1-0 lead.
With 2 outs, brings up center fielder number 17, Devin Peterson.
2 outs in the inning. A beautiful play there by the shortstop Costa. He laid out for it and then kind of flipped it to the third baseman who tagged Rainey at third base for out number 2. Faltasek leads off first base. He's off and running. The pitch is in there for a called strike. The throwdown not in time. Faltasek still second base to get into scoring position with 2 outs. Third stolen base of the night for the Eagles. So a great play by Costa. Keeps a runner off third base. 6-5 on that put out. So an 0-1 count to Devin Peterson. It was a called strike on the outside corner. But Faltasek down at second base now with 2 outs. 1 run across here in the bottom of the second inning. Georgetown a 1-0 lead over Consolidated. Faltasek leads off second. Nitsky comes set. The 0-1 pitch to Peterson. Inside corner called strike 2. Peterson walked in his first plate appearance back in the first inning. Stole second base, was left stranded or cut down at third base on the bunt attempt by Talon Ball. So Peterson steps in here with 2 outs and a runner at second base and a 1-0 lead. Nitsky comes set. The 0-2 pitch up high. Ball one. 1-2 the count now to the leadoff man, Devin Peterson. On deck, Brady Peters. Should Peterson be able to extend the inning here for the Eagles? One ball and two strikes. Nitsky comes set. Takes a look back at second base. The 1-2 pitch. Peterson fouls it back to the screen. Stays alive in the at-bat. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Jaron Vieira sighting. The press box over there trying to fix the scoreboard for us. Chris Petty couldn't get it done. So now Jaron Vieira here trying to help out in the press box. Nitsky will come set. Peterson back in from the right side. Look back at second base. The 1-2 pitch. Nope, it's not going to be called. A timeout called by Peterson, and a good timeout there. And I appreciate the umpire staying fair in that, as Clayton Eli had called timeout multiple times in the same pitch. Opportunity in the top of the second inning. Peterson didn't like how long it was taking Nitsky as he kept looking back to second base. So we'll all reset here. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Eagles have 1 run across here in the bottom of the second. The 1-0 lead. Baltasek off second base. The 1-2 pitch. Peterson hits it into left field. The line drive right at Kieschnick, and he'll jump up in the air and make the catch. As he kind of settled there and then let it come to him and almost went over his head. But he'll make the catch for out number 3. L7 in the book to retire Peterson, but not before the Georgetown Eagles pick up 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. After 2 complete innings, Georgetown 1, A&M Consolidated 0. More Eagle baseball after this on SHN.
This presentation of Georgetown Eagles playoff baseball is brought to you by Warren Law PC. Warren Law PC has served Round Rock and surrounding communities since 2001. We're proud of our community involvement, commitment to continuing education, and individualized representation. Whether you're looking for an attorney in Round Rock, an attorney in Georgetown, or an attorney in Austin, we represent clients throughout Central Texas and the North Austin, Texas metro area, including the counties of Williamson and Travis, and the cities of Austin, Round Rock, Georgetown, Cedar Park, Leander, Hutto, Taylor, and Pflugerville. Warren Law PC specializes in business law, estate planning, real estate law, and mediation services. For more information, call 512-769-3595 or check out our website at www.roundrocktexaslaw.com.
We're back for the top of the 3rd inning here at Eagle Field at Georgetown High School. Nolan Jondal on to work his 3rd inning for the Eagles. The top of the lineup due up for the Tigers, Hood, Costa, and Hodge. The first pitch to Hood is up and away, ball 1. Hood 0 for 1 of the ball game. Struck out swinging in the top of the 1st inning to lead off the ball game. Steps in here to lead off the top of the 3rd for the Tigers. The 1-0 pitch, and he'll bunt it down the first baseline, but it's going to curl foul. And now the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Through 2 innings, 48 pitches thrown by Nolan Jondal. He's allowed 1 hit, struck out 3, walked 1, and hit 1. Through 2 complete innings, the A&M Consolidated Tigers, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 3 runners left on base. The Eagles, 1 run, 1 hit, 3 runners left on, no errors. So now a 1-1 count to Kai Hood, leads off the top of the 3rd. The 1-1 pitch, and a ball slash foul down the 3rd baseline, and now 1-2 the count to the leadoff man, the right fielder, Kai Hood. The sophomore right fielder bats from the left side, 0 for 1 in the ball game, and now behind in the count, 1-2. The 1-2 pitch, and a ground ball hit out towards second base. Talon Ball's going to have to charge and throw on the run, and he does for out number 1. 4-3 on the putout. Nice play there by Talon Ball to charge and get it out of his glove. Over to Leininger. So Hood retired on the ground out to second base, and that'll bring up Joaquin Costa. The junior shortstop steps in. He walked in his first plate appearance back in the 1st inning, stole second base, advanced on a pass ball to 3rd, but was left stranded there. Steps in here with 1 out, and the base is empty. The first pitch, a ball popped up right side of the infield. Leininger's going to give chase over in foul territory towards the Tigers dugout, but it goes into the dugout for strike 1. Nice hustle there by Leininger over in the area of it, but it just squeaks between the the top of the dugout and back behind the wall. So Costa stays alive in the at-bat. No balls and 1 strikes. With 1 out here in the top of the 3rd. From the windup, the 0-1 pitch. Ball hit out into center field. And that's going to be down in front of Peterson for a 1-out base hit for Joaquin Costa. Quickly in, and Costa back to first base. So a 1-out base runner here on the base hit. Second hit of the ball game for the Tigers. And in steps Nathan Hodge, the third baseman. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. He flew out to Nations in left field back in the first inning. Steps in here with 1 out and a runner at first base. Leininger will hold Costa on at first base. Gets a good lead there as John Dahl works from the stretch here with the base runner. John Dahl comes set. The first pitch stays high, ball 1. Good quality at bat in the top of the first for Hodge. Flew to left field on the 8th pitch of the at bat. Got to a full count and fouled off 2 balls. Then Andrew Nations able to track down the fly ball. Throw over to first base. Costa dives back in safely. They'll try to keep him close there. He stole the base back in the first inning after reaching on the 1-out walk. Costa leads off first. Leininger holds him on. John Dahl comes set. The 1-0 pitch. Costa off and running. Bernickel will throw down. It's to the second base side of the bag. Gets into center field, but Peterson backing up there. So another stolen base for Costa. As a runner in scoring position here in the top of the 3rd for the Tigers. A 1 ball, 1 strike the count to Nathan Hodge. With 1 out here in the top of the 3rd inning. John Dahl comes set in the stretch. The 1-1 pitch. And a ball hit into right field. Faltasek backs up about 4 steps. He'll make the catch, and he'll come up and get it in quickly to Hellman at shortstop. And Costa unable to advance on that fly ball. F9 of the book to retire Hodge for out number 2. And that'll bring up the number 4 hitter, the first baseman, Cole Bentz. He was hit by a pitch back in the first inning, left stranded at second base. Bentz, the senior first baseman, steps back in from the right side. John Dahl from the stretch comes set. The first pitch to Bentz, and he'll hit it into center field. Devin Peterson retreats, and he'll make the catch for out number 3. F8 in the book to retire Bentz and the Tigers here in the top of the 3rd. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. After 2.5 innings, A&M Consolidated 0, Georgetown 1. More Eagle baseball after this on SHN.
The 3rd inning of today's game is brought to you by Nathaniel Funk, your Leander Georgetown Edward Jones financial advisor at 1640 Highland Falls Drive, Suite 801, Leander, Texas 78641. Learn how he can help you with your financial goals. Visit edwardjones.com/Nathaniel Funk for more.
We move to the bottom of the 3rd inning here in game number 1 of this best-of-3 series between the Georgetown Eagles and the A&M Consolidated Tigers in the area round of the playoffs. The Eagles lead it 1-0 After they push one across in the bottom of the second, they come up here in the bottom of the third. The 2, 3, and 4 hitters due up. Brady Peters, Talon Ball, and Riley Leininger due up here in the bottom of the third. 40 pitches through 2 innings thrown by Sam Nitsky, the senior right-hander for the Tigers as he toes the rubber here to start the top of the third, or the bottom of the third inning. Warren Law PC, proud sponsor of Georgetown Eagle Playoff Baseball, brings you this area playoff series to make it free for you here on SHN Sports. Nitsky comes set. The first pitch to Peters is on the outside corner, called strike one. Peters walked back in the first inning. Was left stranded at first base. Leads off the bottom of the third here for Georgetown. Nitsky comes set in the stretch. The 0-1 pitch to Brady Peters. On the top half of the zone for a called strike. Here's where you want to see the consistency from the home plate umpire. That was a ball in the top of the first inning, in the first inning either way. And now stretching that zone out a little bit here in the third. The 0-2 pitch to Brady Peters. Peters will pop it up down the right field line. Bentz will retreat for it behind first base, and he'll be called off. But he bails out late. The second baseman, Eli, didn't get to it, and it bounces foul. So Brady Peters stays alive in the at-bat. No balls and 2 strikes. And that's one of those plays you kind of want to put a star in the book and watch how that comes out to play. Brady Peters gets new life as that out could have been made by the Tiger defense. But missing that one and giving Brady Peters another chance at the plate. Can he make that count? Can he get a hit by a pitch? Can he get a base hit and get on base and cause some havoc? And so it's happened a couple times here in the year, and the Eagles love to make some noise once they get someone on base. So an opportunity here for the senior third baseman, Brady Peters. Brady settles back in from the right side. Nitz gets the signal from Walker, comes set, the 0-2 pitch, and it's over the head of Brady Peters. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Almost hit the bat on his back shoulder. We saw that one come to play in the series against Navarro as it did to Chance Pernica and went fair, and the action was on. And so 1-2 now the count to Peters. Nitsky comes set, the 1-2 pitch. And Peters hits it into center field. Is it going to get down? It is. And that right there put that star by it. Brady Peters makes the most of the opportunity of the misplay there by the Tiger defense, and he picks up a leadoff base hit, the second hit of the game for the Eagles. And so make a note. Bottom of the third, an 0-2 count. Brady Peters could have been out of his at-bat. But a misplay on a foul ball keeps the bat alive. And Brady gets a base hit into center field. In steps Talon Ball. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Reached on a fielder's choice. Throw over to first base, and Brady Peters dives back in easily there as Bentz holds him on at first base. Nitsky looks in and gets the sign from the catcher Walker as Peters leads off first. Nitsky comes set in the stretch. First pitch, the ball hits him, and now the first 2 men aboard here in the bottom of the third. First batter hit by a pitch by Nitsky. This crowd getting going here in the bottom of the third as the catcher Walker goes out to visit with Nitsky and get him calmed down. Brady Peters moves up to second base on the hit by pitch of Talon Ball. Talon down to first base, and in steps Riley Leininger. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Struck out looking in the first inning. One of the 2 strikeout victims of Nitsky so far. Leininger would love to have an opportunity here to drive one down the right field line again. He had 2 triples in the Navarro series. Beautiful hits down the third baseline. Steps in here with no outs and runners on first and second here in the bottom of the third. Nitsky a long look in. Gets the sign from Walker and comes set in the stretch. First pitch to Leininger, pulls the bunt attempt back, takes it for a ball. The ball gets away from the shortstop, and here goes Peters to third base, and he'll slide in safely at third base. A throw behind from the catcher Walker, and the shortstop Costa couldn't hold on to it. And Brady Peters took off and got a great jump, slides into third base. Talon Ball advances to second base, as the second baseman Eli wasn't covering the bag there. And so now runners on second and third with no outs, and Leininger Up at the plate. One ball, no strikes to Riley Leininger. We'll see how they score that one. The throw behind, and Peters dove back in, but it went under the glove of Costa into center field. Ball leads off second. Peters off third. The 1-0 pitch to Leininger. And Leininger sends it down the right field line, but foul out in front of that pitch. And he turned on that one and drove it a long way, but foul down the line. And now the count 1 ball and 1 strike to Riley Leininger. The number 4 hitter for your Eagles, the first baseman. Leininger throws right, bats left. Apologies for the shaking camera in center field. There's people out crawling up on the outfield wall. And so any movement of that wall, that's what the cameras are attached to. And so we apologize for the shakiness out there as they hang on that wall. The 1-1 pitch to Leininger. Down low, ball 2. Two balls and 1 strike to Leininger. Runners on second and third, no outs here in the bottom of the third. The 2-1 pitch. Leininger swinging a miss as he chased the outspeed pitch. Nice pitch there. Leininger way out in front of that one, and now a 2-2 count to the big lefty, Riley Leininger. Leininger steps outside the box, takes a big breath, sets himself back inside, in from the left side. 2 balls, 2 strikes, no outs. Runners on second and third. Nitsky gets the sign and comes set in the stretch. The 2-2 pitch. Inside, ball 3. Now a full count to Riley Leininger with runners on second and third and no outs. Eli Hellman on deck for the Eagles. Nitsky gets the sign and comes set. The payoff pitch to Leininger. And Leininger fouls it back out of play. Good at bat here by the junior first baseman, Riley Leininger. $16 runs scored, 9 RBIs in district play for Leininger. An opportunity for 1 or 2 more here with the bases loaded bases second and third for the Eagles and no outs here in the bottom of the third. A full count as Nitsky looks in, gets a sign and comes set. The payoff pitch. Leininger is swinging a miss, strike 3 for out number 1. Third strikeout for Nitsky. And that'll bring up Eli Hellman. He's 0 for 1 of the ball game. A ground ball back towards the pitcher, Nitsky, back in the first inning. Grounded out there in that first at bat, 0 for 1 in the ball game. Steps in here with 1 out. Runners on second and third. Andrew Nations on deck for the Eagles. Nitsky comes set. The first pitch to Eli Hellman. Hellman takes it on the inside corner for a called strike. 0-1 the count to Eli Hellman. 1 out. Runners on second and third. Brady Peters down at third base. Talon Ball at second. The infield on the right side for the Panthers. A step in on the grass. The left side of the infield about 2 steps behind the grass. The 0-1 pitch. Hellman fouls it off back to the backstop now behind in the count. 0 balls and 2 strikes. Nice crowd here at Georgetown High School in Eagle Field. A sea of blue from the middle section on around to the third base side. A nice crowd here from A&M Consolidated. The maroon and black on the first base side of the stands. Nitsky comes set. An 0-2 count to Hellman. The 0-2 pitch. And Hellman takes it. Called strike 3. Not a strike you've been seeing called so far. Now it seems like the zone's changing some. Second strikeout in a row for Nitsky. 4 strikeout in the ball game for the senior right-hander. And in steps Andrew Nations. He's 1 for 1. He doubled down the right field line. Scored the only run of the ball game so far. Back in inning number 2, he doubled down the right field line. Advanced to third on a balk by Nitsky and then was scored on a ground ball by Faltasek. Nations back in from the left side. Nitsky comes set. The first pitch to Andrew. Down low, ball 1. A 1-0 to count to Andrew Nations. Jackson Rainey on deck for the Eagles. Should Nations extend this inning. First two batters aboard on a base hit and a hit by pitch. Moved up to second and third base, and now still there with 2 outs. 2 back-to-back strikeouts by Nitsky. The 1-0 pitch to Nations. Nations fouls it off down the third baseline. The count evens out at 1-1. Game number 2 scheduled for a 7 p.m. start tomorrow night at A&M Consolidated in College Station. Stay tuned to the social media depending on the weather to see if the field is playable. If not, the change will come hopefully earlier than later in the day, but it'll be moved to Navasota, just a few miles outside of College Station, to an all-turf field if need be, but it will be moved up to 5 p.m. The 1-1 pitch to Nations. Nations fouls it off into the glove of Walker for strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes now with 2 outs. Runners on second and third. Tigers trying to get out of trouble here. Runners in scoring position at second and third with no outs. And now 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. Runners still there at second and third. Peters at third, ball at second. The 1-2 pitch to Nations. Nations swinging a miss, strike 3. And after getting the first 2 men on board, Nitsky strikes out the side to end the bottom of the third. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 2 runners left on after 3 complete innings. 1-0, Georgetown leads it over A&M Consolidated. More Eagle baseball after this on SHN.
The Morrow from Morrow broadcast booth is sponsored by our friend and longtime supporter Matt Morrow at borrowfrommorrow.com. Matt Morrow and his team is dedicated to providing the best mortgage experience possible by offering easy-to-use mortgage tools, including our handy mobile app, competitive rates, and assistance from a certified mortgage advisor. Matt understands the local markets, has access to a wide variety of loan programs, and is ready to guide you through the process. Your family, your future, our focus. For your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow, Borrow from Morrow. For more information, visit borrowfrommorrow.com. NMLS number 464148.
And we go to the top of the 4th inning. John on to work his 4th inning for the Eagles. He'll face off against Meadows to start it off. Meadows, first pitch swinging, hits it into right field. And a base hit will get Meadows to first base here to lead off the top of the 4th for the Tigers. 3rd hit of the ball game for A&M Consolidated. Meadows was 0 for 1 as he grounded out to Leininger in his first at bat. Now 1 for 2 on the night. So he leads off with a base hit. Now steps in Trey Walker, the catcher. He's 1 for 1 in the ball game. Singled and left stranded at third base. Or his courtesy runner, Gage Boyd, was. Back in inning number 2. Steps in here with the runner at first and no outs. First pitch from John Dahl. Outside corner called strike 1. 0-1 the count to Trey Walker. The junior catcher steps back in from the right side. John Dahl from the stretch comes set. Throw over to first base. Trace Meadows dives back in safely. Meadows, the junior center fielder, leads off the inning on the first pitch swinging with a base hit to right field. Leads off first base. Leininger holds him on there. Another throw to first base as Meadow dives back in. So they feel it safely. Now the scoreboard working out there in the left field, over the left field wall. Little flashes of nervousness as it kind of blinks here and there. 0-1 the count to the catcher, Walker. John Dahl comes set. It's not a balk. He called time. How do you call balk? He called time. Oh, my goodness, and now the umpire is going to have to call it back. The home plate umpire, go back to first base. You can't give him a balk. You called time. So a good job there by the home plate umpire to control that one. The third base umpire called a balk. Nolan went towards first base but didn't throw, but a timeout had been called prior to the movement. And so it just is a dead ball timeout. So Meadows back to first base. The count remains no balls and 1 strike to Walker, the catcher. here in the top of the fourth inning. 1-0, Georgetown leads it. Another throw to first base. Meadows safely returns there. Georgetown with one run across in the bottom of the second leads at 1-0 as we go to the top of the fourth here. The leadoff man aboard on a base hit by Trace Meadows. And now Trey Walker, the 0-1 pitch. Meadows off and running. The throw down, not in time. Oh, it may have been. No. Nice tag there by Hellman as the ball was to the second base side of the bag. Slapped the tag on the back end of the leg of Meadows. But called safe there at second base. Another stolen base for the Tigers. Their third of the ball game. Has a man in scoring position with no outs. 1-1 the count to the catcher Walker. John Dahl comes set. A look back at second base. The 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. A big hack by Walker there. The breaking pitch caught him off guard, and now a 1-2 count to the catcher Walker. Clayton Kurtz, the DH, on deck for the Tigers here in the top of the fourth. John Dahl comes set. A look back at second base. Now a timeout at home by Walker. And everyone will reset. A 1-2 strikes to Walker. No outs and a runner at second base. The 1-2 pitch. Up and away. Ball 2. 2-2 now the count. A leadoff man aboard with a base hit to right field in the first pitch of the top half of the inning. And then Meadows still second base. He's down there at second base with no outs. A 2-2 count to the catcher, Trey Walker. John Dahl comes set in the stretch. A look back at second base. And now another timeout by Walker. Cat and mouse game being played here by the Tiger hitters. A second look back towards second base by the pitcher, John Dahl, and they call timeout. You're going to see it start happening by the Eagle hitters as well. John Dahl looks back at second. And now the 2-2 pitch. And a ball hit out in between first and second into right field. Faltasek up with it. Meadows makes it to third base, but he'll be held there as the ball comes in quickly. So a single, back-to-back singles has runners at the corners here in the top of the fifth. Correction, top of the fourth.
Next up, designated hitter number 11.
Gage Boyd, the courtesy runner. Sophomore comes on for the catcher, Walker. Runners on the corners with no outs here in the top of the fourth inning. And now a visit from Coach Chad Payne out to the mound, and we'll take a timeout. Listening to Georgetown Eagle Baseball on SHN.
This presentation of Georgetown Eagles playoff baseball is brought to you by Warren Law PC. Warren Law PC has served Round Rock and surrounding communities since 2001. We're proud of our community involvement, commitment to continuing education, and individualized representation. Whether you're looking for an attorney in Round Rock, an attorney in Georgetown, or an attorney in Austin, we represent clients throughout Central Texas and the North Austin, Texas metro area, including the counties of Williamson and Travis, and the cities of Austin, Round Rock, Georgetown, Cedar Park, Leander, Hutto, Taylor, and Pflugerville. Warren Law PC specializes in business law, estate planning, real estate law, and mediation services. For more information, call 512-769-3595 or check out our website at www.roundrocktexaslaw.com.
And back here at the top of the fourth inning, the Tigers have the first 2 men aboard. Runners on the corners after back-to-back singles to right field. Courtesy runner Boyd leads off first, being held on by Leiniger. Peters in at third base on the grass as Clayton Kurtz, the DH, steps in for the Tigers. Squares the bunt out in front of the mound. John Dahl up with it. He'll fire to Pernica at home. The tag, and not in time as Meadows gets his hand around the leg of Pernica and touches home plate before the tag, and now the run scores to tie it up. So the suicide bunt. Squeeze bunt there by Kurtz. He reaches on the fielder's choice to score the run from third base. Walker's courtesy runner Boyd moves up to second base. Now the ball game is tied as Cannon Kieschnick steps in. 0 for 1 in the ball game. Struck out swinging in the second. Steps in here with runners on first and second and one out, no outs. Squares the bunt. Misses the bunt for strike one. Kieschnick up here with no outs and runners on first and second. Clayton Eli, the number 9 hitter, on deck for the Tigers here at the top of the 4th. Leininger in at first base on the grass. Peters on the grass at third base. He didn't pull the bat back even though it went over his head, but they're not going to call it a strike. 1-1 the count now to Kieschnick as that one sailed over his head. The square to bunt. Never saw the bat barrel be pulled back as he just ducked underneath the pitch. And now a 1-1 count to Kieschnick. Here in the top of the 4th. Runners on first and second. And a timeout as Pernica is going to head out to talk to Nolan Johndal. 58 pitches through 3 innings thrown by Johndal. You never know if there's people warming up for the Eagles down the third baseline as they have their bullpen inside the indoor facility down the third baseline attached to the dugout. So Johndal still in there for the Eagles. And now a timeout called by the third base umpire. No drumming allowed by the bullpen or by the dugout. The Johndal comes set. A 1-1 count to Canyon Kieschnick. Look back at second base. The 1-1 pitch. Kieschnick to bunt. Bunts it out towards third base. Brady Peters is going to come up with it. Has only played a first and in time just to beat Kieschnick down the line. So the sack bunt works as it moves both runners into scoring position at second and third base with just one out here in the top of the 4th. 5-3 on the putout. And in steps Clayton Eli. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Struck out swinging in the second to end the inning. Gage Boyd, the courtesy runner for Walker, moves up to third base. Clayton Kurtz moves up to second on the sack bunt. And Clayton Eli is going to show the bunt early and now calls time and will step out. Johndal will stay in the stretch. The runners at second and third. The first pitch to Eli. He'll pull it back and foul it off. Well, the catcher, Pernica, the umpire, is going to walk it out. To Johndal, give Pernica a chance to reset. 0-1 the count to Clayton Eli. The number 9 hitter for the Tigers. 1 run across here on 2 hits. A 1 out. Runners at second and third. A&M Consolidated trying to take their first lead of the ball game. Here in the top of the 4th, they've tied it up. Now trying to do more damage. The 0-1 pitch. Eli fouls it back to the screen. 0-2 now the count. To the second baseman, Clayton Eli. On deck, the leadoff man, Kai Hood. He's 0 for 2 in the ball game. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Runners on second and third here in the top of the 4th. Johndal never even comes set with a pitch selection, and Clayton Eli takes time again. His 17th time to take time tonight in his 2 at-bats. And now he'll step back in. Johndal will get the sign from Pernica and come set in the stretch. The 0-2 pitch. And Eli fouls it back towards the screen and back down the first baseline. Stays alive in the at-bat. No balls and 2 strikes. So the runners return. Eli resets from the right side. Johndal will get the sign from Pernica and comes set in the stretch. The runners lead off. The 0-2 pitch. And Eli slaps it foul down the first baseline. Stays alive in the at-bat. No balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. A&M Consolidated has stranded 4 runners through 3 innings. And back at it again here in the top of the 4th. The runners on first and second and third with 1 out. 1 run across in the inning. Johndal comes set. The 0-2 pitch. And the breaking pitch stays just high. Ball 1. 1-2 now the count to Clayton Eli. The number 9 hitter in the Tiger lineup. 0 for 1. Struck out back in the second inning. Takes time again and steps out. Now back in from the right side. Johndal gets the sign and comes set in the stretch. The 1-2 pitch. Low and outside. Nice stop there by Pernica to slide out. Keep it in front of him. Keep the runners at bay. 2-2 now the count to the senior second baseman, Clayton Eli. John Doe gets the sign from Pernica, comes set in the stretch. The 2-2 pitch. Fouled off back to the screen. Clayton Eli battling here. 2-2 remains the count. 3 foul balls as well. So next pitch, the 8th of the at-bat for the senior second baseman. The number 9 hitter for the Tigers. Clayton Eli back in from the right side. John Doe looks in and gets the sign from Pernica. Comes set in the stretch. The 2-2 pitch. And a ball popped up down the first baseline. Leininger in foul territory will have room and make the catch for out number 2. So a nice at-bat there from Eli, but it ends up not being very productive as he pops out to Leininger in foul territory for out number 2. But an 8-pitch at-bat there as he did battle with John Doe. And now in steps the leadoff man, the right fielder, Kai Hood. He's 0 for 2 in the ball game. Struck out in the first, grounded out in the third. Steps in here with 2 outs and runners on second and third. John Doe comes set in the stretch. Hood in from the left side. The first pitch to Hood. Outside corner called strike 1. Oh, and 1 the count to Kai Hood. Sophomore right fielder steps back in from the right side. No balls and 1 strike. John Doe comes set. The 0-1 pitch. Fouled off back to the screen. 0-2 the count. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. 1-1 your score. The Tigers have evened it back up here in the top of the 4th with 1 run. Runners on second and third. The 0-2 pitch to Hood. Outside, just misses for ball 1. 1-2 now the count to the leadoff man, Kai Hood. On deck, Joaquin Costa. Should the Tigers extend the inning here with Hood? John Doe gets the sign and comes set in the stretch. The 1-2 pitch. Fouled off. Hood stays alive in the at-bat. 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runners on second and third. John Doe gets the sign and comes set. The 1-2 pitch. And where it missed, I don't know. You're going to start hearing some chirping from Coach Vieira. The count now 2-2. The same strike zone area that he called out Eli Hellman on strike 3. And now it's a 2-2 count to Kai Hood. John Doe comes set. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The 2-2 pitch. And a ball slap foul down the third baseline. Curls out of play. And Hood stays alive in the at-bat. 2-2. The sun is set. The lights are in full force here at Eagle Field. A beautiful night for Game 1 of this best-of-3 series here in the area playoff round between your Georgetown Eagles and the A&M Consolidated Tigers. John Doe comes set. The 2-2 pitch to Hood. Up high, ball 3. The Eagles scored 1 run in the bottom of the second. The Tigers have answered a 1 here in the top of the 4th and threatening with more with runners on second and third. 2 outs and a full count to the right fielder, Kai Hood. John Doe gets the sign he wants from Pernica. Comes set in the stretch. The payoff pitch. And a ball slapped foul down the third baseline, out of play. A quality at bat here for Kai Hood. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The count. 3 foul balls. So the next one, the 9th pitch of the at bat for the leadoff man, Kai Hood. Hood back in from the left side. John Doe gets the sign. The payoff pitch will not come yet. A late timeout given to Hood. Now Kai Hood back in from the left side. John Doe looks in and gets the sign from Pernica. Comes set in the stretch. The payoff pitch. And Hood fouls it off back to the net. Stays alive. 3-2 the count. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runners on second and third base. Gage Boyd, the courtesy runner, down at third. Clayton Kurtz down at second base. John Dahl comes set. The payoff pitch. And a ball slap foul. Kai Hood continues to do battle here. 5 balls fouled out by Kai Hood in this at-bat. The next pitch. The 11th of the at-bat for Kai Hood. Hood back in from the left side. John Dahl comes set. The payoff pitch. Fouled off. Hood stays alive. Three and 2 the count to Kai Hood, the leadoff man. 0 for 2 in the ball game so far for the Tigers. An opportunity here for the Tigers to try to open this one up. Runners on second and third here in the top of the 4th. 2 outs, a 3-2 count. John Dahl comes set in the stretch. The payoff pitch. And a ball slapped down the left field line, and it's going to curl foul. And so Hood continues his battle here with Nolan John Dahl. 12 pitches through the at-bat so far for Kai Hood. 7 balls fouled off to stay alive in this battle. John Dahl comes set. Hood back in. The payoff pitch. And a ball hit into left field. Andrew Nations is going to give chase, and he'll settle under it and make the catch for out number 3. F7 in the book to retire Hood and the Tigers here in the top of the 4th. But not before they pick up 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on. After 3.5 innings, Georgetown won. A&M Consolidated won. More Eagle baseball after this on SHN. We're back here for the bottom of the 4th inning here at Eagle Field in Georgetown High School. Back in the SHN broadcast booth. Brought to you by Matt Morrow and Borrow from Morrow. For all your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow, borrowfrommorrow.com. The Eagles will bring up the 7, 8, 9 hitters, Rainey, Pernica, and Faltasek here against Nitsky in the bottom of the 4th, a tie ball game, 1-1. The first pitch to Rainey, outside for ball 1. Want to know the count to Jackson Rainey. Rainey walked and stole second base in the 2nd inning, but was cut down at third base by a nice play by Costa at shortstop to dive and throw it to the third baseman for the tagout. The 1-0 pitch to Rainey. Outside corner, called strike 1. 1-1 the count. Nitsky, 60 pitches through 3 innings. Has given up 2 hits, 1 run, struck out 5, walked 3, hit 1 batter, has 1 balk. Has allowed 3 stolen bases. 1-1 pitch to Jackson Rainey. And Rainey slashes it foul down the left field line, out of play. Now a 1-ball, 2-strike count to the designated hitter, Jackson Rainey. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Jackson Rainey as he leads off the bottom of the 4th here for the Eagles. A 1-1 ball game. 1 run in the bottom of the 2nd for the Eagles. 1 run answered in the top of the 4th by the Tigers. Nitsky comes set in the stretch. The 1-2 pitch. And Rainey fouls it off, back out of play. A 1 ball, 2 strikes remains the count. Jackson Rainey, the junior designated hitter, hits number 7 for the Eagles. On deck, Chance Pernicka, and in the hole, Jacob Faltasek. 7, 8, 9 hitters here in the bottom of the 4th inning for Georgetown. Nitsky looks in, gets the sign, and comes set in the stretch. The 1-2 pitch to Rainey. And Rainey hits it down the left field line, and it is foul. Sliced foul by about 1.5 feet, 2 feet. So Rainey doing battle in return here with Nitsky. So a couple of good battles there in the top of the 4th. It's Clayton Eli. Saw 8 pitches from Nolan Jondahl. Kai Hood ended his at bat on a fly out to left field. Having seen 13 pitches from Nolan Jondahl. So now Rainey trying to do that in kind to Nitsky. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And now Rainey will take a timeout and step out, but that will send the catcher Walker out to visit with Nitsky. Warren Law PC sponsoring the area playoff series here on SHN Sports to help keep playoff baseball free for you here on the SHN Sports Network. Thank you so much to Warren Law PC, proud sponsor of Georgetown Eagle Baseball and SHN Sports. 1 ball, 2 strikes, the count to Rainey, leading off the bottom of the 4th here for the Eagles. He chokes up, steps back in from the left side as Nitsky looks in and gets the sign from the catcher Walker. Nitsky comes set. The 1-2 pitch. Down low and inside. Ball 2. 2-2 now to the junior designated hitter, Jackson Rainey. Leading off here for the Eagles in the bottom of the 4th inning. Game 1 here tonight at Georgetown High School. Game 2 scheduled 7 p.m. First pitch at A&M Consolidated tomorrow night. Game 3, if necessary, back here at 2 o'clock on Saturday. The 2-2 pitch down low, ball 3. Good at bat here by Jackson Rainey now. Next pitch will be the 8th of the at bat for the leadoff batter here in the 4th inning, Jackson Rainey. Rainey back in from the left side. Still choked up on the bat. Nitsky gets a sign from Walker and comes set in the stretch. The payoff pitch. Rainey takes it low and outside. No! Strike 3 called. Even Nitsky couldn't believe it. He didn't think it was a strike call. And a late strike 3 called, and Jackson Rainey strikes out looking for out number 1.
Next up for Georgetown, the catcher, number 7.
And that'll bring up Chance Pernicka, 0 for 1 in the ball game. Struck out swinging back in the 2nd inning. Steps in here with 1 out. Nitsky now with 6 strikeouts in the ball game. Pernicka steps in from the right side. 1 out, no runners on here in the bottom of the 4th. Nitsky comes set in the stretch. The first pitch to Chance. Low and outside, ball 1. Jacob Faltasek on deck, the number 9 hitter for the Eagles. Nitsky looks in, gets the sign, and comes set in the stretch. The 1-0 pitch to Chance Pernicka. Pernicka pops it back out of play. 1-1 now, the count to the senior catcher. Pay attention to your social medias tomorrow. If there's any changes due to weather and an unplayable field at A&M Consolidated, the game will be moved earlier in the day to Navasota High School to an all-turf complex there for game number 2. So watch out on the social medias. The coaches will try to make that call early in the day as possible to give time for the changes to get kids out of school and get them on the road. The 1-1 pitch to Pernicka. He takes the breaker in there for a call and strike. 1-2 now. To Chance Pernicka with 1 out. Base is empty here in the bottom of the 4th. One run, 2 hits, no errors for the Eagles. 1 run, 4 hits, no errors for the Tigers. Nitsky comes set. The 1-2 pitch to Bernicka. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Bernicka down for out number 2. Back-to-back strikeouts by Nitsky. That'll bring up Jacob Faltasek with 2 outs. Here in the bottom of the 4th, and the base is emptied. The number 9 man steps in. 7 strikeouts on the night so far for Nitsky as Faltasek steps in 0 for 1 in the ballgame. Reached on a fielder's choice, an RBI as he scored nations from third base. Stole second base, was left stranded there back in the 2nd inning. The first pitch from Nitsky. Outside for ball 1. I want to know the count to Jacob Faltasek. Nitsky works from the first base side of the rubber. Throws from the stretch the entire game. Nitsky will come set. The 1-0 pitch to Faltasek. Faltasek sends a fly ball into left center field. Center fielder Meadows ranges over, and he'll back up the left fielder Kieschnick, who will make the catch for out number 3. The Eagles in order here at the bottom of the 4th. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on. F7 in the book to retire Faltasek and the Eagles. And after 4 complete innings, 1-1 your score. Georgetown and A&M Consolidated tied up. More Eagle baseball after this on SHN.
This presentation of Georgetown Eagles playoff baseball is brought to you by Warren Law PC. Warren Law PC has served Round Rock and surrounding communities since 2001. We're proud of our community involvement, commitment to continuing education, and individualized representation. Whether you're looking for an attorney in Round Rock, an attorney in Georgetown, or an attorney in Austin, we represent clients throughout Central Texas and the North Austin, Texas metro area, including the counties of Williamson and Travis, and the cities of Austin, Round Rock, Georgetown, Cedar Park, Leander, Hutto, Taylor, and Pflugerville. Warren Law PC specializes in business law, estate planning, real estate law, and mediation services. For more information, call 512-769-3595 or check out our website at www.roundrocktexaslaw.com.
Back here for the top of the 5th inning. Nolan Jondal on to work his 5th inning in the ball game. He's thrown 89 pitches through 4 innings, 31 of them in the 4th inning. Back on here in the top of the 5th. This face-off against the 2, 3, and 4 hitters in the Tiger lineup. Joaquin Costa, Nathan Hodge, and Cole Bentz due up for the Tigers in this 1-1 battle. 1 run, 4 hits, no errors for the Tigers. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors for the Eagles. As Costa steps in, 1 for 1 on the night. Walked in the first inning, was left stranded at third base. Singled and left stranded at second in the 3rd. Leads off here in the top of the 5th. Jondal from the windup, the first pitch. Costa takes it low for ball 1. Joaquin Costa, the shortstop, steps back in. The 1-0 pitch. The bender in there for a called strike. 1-1 the count now. Through 4 innings pitched, Jondal has allowed 4 hits, 1 run. Struck out 3, walked 1, hit 1 batter. The 1-1 pitch to Costa. Just misses the inside corner for ball 2. 2-1 the count now. To Joaquin Costa, the number 2 hitter in the Tiger lineup. Shortstop leads it off here in the top of the 5th. Jondal gets a sign from Pernicka from the windup. The 2-1 pitch. Inside, and that hit him. So the leadoff man aboard here in the top of the 5th inning. Second batter hit by a pitch by Nolan Jondal tonight. So the leadoff man is aboard.
Next up for A&M, third base, number 10, Nathan Hodge.
And that'll bring up the third baseman, Nathan Hodge. He's 0 for 2 in the ball game. 2 flyouts. Steps in here with 1 out, or no outs, and a runner at first base for the Tigers here in the top of the 5th. First pitch. Hodge fouls it back off the mask of Pernicka. Back to the backstop. Costa was off and running. He already has 2 stolen bases in the ball game, 2 of the 3 for the Tigers. A 1-1 the count to Nathan Hodge with Cole Bentz on deck. for the Tigers. Costa leads off first base, held on by Leininger. The 0-1 pitch. Inside, ball 1. One on one to count now to Nathan Hodge. No outs and a runner at first. The leadoff man reached on a hit by pitch. Throw over to first base, and Costa dives back in safely. Hodge flew out to left field in the first inning, flew out to right field in the third. Steps in here, 0-2 in the ball game. 1-1 count with the runner at first base and no outs here in the top of the fifth. Throw over to first base. A slap tag there by Leininger. Close play at first, but Costa just back in under the tag, head first at first base. Eagles expecting him to take off and run again. He's reached base in both the plate appearances and stole second base both times. Costa with a big lead. Leininger holds him on. John Dahl comes set. Throw to first base, not in time. Costa dives back in safely. One ball and one strike to Hodge. The 1-1 pitch, Costa off and running. Pernica throws down, but not in time, and Costa steals his third base of the ball game. So the leadoff man reaches and steals second base, and now at a scoring position. A 1-1 the count, 2-1 the count. So the umpire calls that one low for ball 2. So 2-1 to Hodge with a runner at second base and no outs here in the top of the fifth. The 2-1 pitch. Outside corner called strike 2. 2-2 now the count to Hodge. In every inning so far in the ball game, all 5 innings for the Tigers, they have had at least one runner into scoring position. So the Eagles have done a good job of keeping those runners on base and not allowing them to score, only giving up one there in the top of the fourth. John Dahl look back at second. The 2-2 pitch to Hodge, and he'll hit it into left field. Nations will scoot to his right. He'll make the catch for out number 1. And Costa will return to second base. F7 in the book to retire Hodge. And that'll bring up the first baseman, number 23, Cole Bentz, the senior. He'll step in from the right side. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Was hit by a pitch in the first inning, left stranded at second base. Flew out to the center fielder, Devin Peterson, to end the third. Steps in here with 1 out and a runner at second base. John Dahl comes set in the stretch. Now he'll step off and reset. Joaquin Costa led off the inning with a hit by a pitch and now stole second base down at second. The first pitch to Bentz, down and in the turf. Good block there by Pernica. Keeps Costa at second base. 1-0 the count to Bentz. Trace Meadows, the center fielder, moves into the on-deck circle for the Tigers here in the top of the fifth. John Dahl comes set. Costa a big lead. Now he'll scramble back. The 1-0 pitch is in there for a called strike. 1-1 the count to the senior first baseman, Cole Bentz. I have to imagine this will be the last inning for John Dahl to work. Starting the inning with 89 pitches. The 1-1 pitch to Bentz. Low and outside. Pernica blocks it. It's down the third baseline. He'll throw to third. But Joaquin Costa got a good jump and gets over to third base. So now the go-ahead run just 90 feet away with 1 out. Here in the top of the fifth. Two and 1 the count to Cole Bentz. The runner at third base and 1 out. John Dahl comes set. The 2-1 count. Ground ball hit out towards third. Peters will field it. He'll make the play across the diamond for out number 2. 5-3 on the putout to retire Bentz. And Joaquin Costa stays put at third base.
Next over the Tigers, center fielder, number 9.
So in steps Trace Meadows. He's 1 for 2 in the ball game. Singled in the fourth. Stole second base and scored the only run of the ball game for the Tigers. And that's going to be it for Nolan John Dahl as Jordan Vieira, the head coach, comes out from the dugout. Quick timeout. We'll come back with the update and the pitching change. You're listening to Georgetown Eagle Baseball on SHN Sports.
This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Nathaniel Funk, your Leander, Georgetown, Edward Jones financial advisor at 1640 Highland Falls Drive, Suite 801, Leander, Texas 78641. Learn how he can help you with your financial goals. Visit edwardjones.com/Nathaniel Funk for more.
And the Nathaniel Funk Edward Jones financial advisor call to the bullpen for your Georgetown Eagles. Into the ball game, the senior right-hander, number 14, Kyle Ropolo. He comes in with 2 outs here in the top of the 5th inning. A runner on third base to face off against Trace Meadows, the center fielder, who's 1 for 2 in the ball game. First pitch from Ropolo, low and inside, ball 1. A 1-0 the count. To Meadows. Ropolo works from the stretch. Comes set, the 1-0 pitch. Breaking pitch, just misses the inside corner. Ball 2. Beautiful pitch there. And Coach Vieira. Two 2-0 the count. Trace Meadows. The 2-0 pitch. Low and inside, ball 3. Three balls and no strikes now to Trace Meadows. 1 for 2 in the ball game. Grounded out to first base in the first inning. Singled and scored a run in the 4th. Costa leads off third. Ropolo comes set. The 3-0 pitch. Right down the pipe for a called strike. Meadows was taken all the way. 3-1 the count. To the left-handed hitting Meadows. Ropolo comes set. The 3-1 pitch. Misses low, ball 4. A 2-out walk. Has runners on the corners now. First walk issued by Ropolo. 4 2/3 innings for Nolan Jondahl. He throws 102 pitches. Allows 4 hits, 1 run, 3 strikeouts, 1 walk, 1 wild pitch. Hit 2 batters. Still responsible for the runner, Joaquin Costa down at third base. Eli Hellman in to visit with Kyle Ropolo. And now Hellman back to short. Ropolo back to the mound. Works from the stretch. Runners on first and second. Ropolo will come set. Meadows leads off first. First pitch just misses the outside corner for a ball. 1-0 the count. To the catcher, Trey Walker. Ropolo takes his time. Now comes set. A throw over to first. Meadows dives back in safely. Runners on the corners with 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. A 1-1 ball game. Georgetown 1 run in the bottom of the 2nd. The Tigers of A&M Consolidated with 1 run back in the top of the 4th to even things up, and now trying to break it. That's 1-1 tie with runners on the corners. Throw over to first base. Meadows dives back in safely. Keeping Meadows close at first base. Leininger holding him on there. Walker is 2 for 2 at the night at the plate. 2 base hits, 2 singles. Been left stranded at third base in both times. Ropolo looks in and gets the sign and comes set in the stretch. The 1-0 pitch. Meadows off and running. The 1-0 pitch called strike 1 on the outside corner. Pernica will hold on the throwdown and not throw. And so another stolen base, the 5th of the night. As Meadows moves into scoring position at second base. A 1-1 count to Trey Walker with Clayton Kurtz on deck for the Tigers. Ropolo gets a sign from Pernico, comes set in the stretch. The 1-1 pitch. Walker a swing and a miss. Strike 2 now. 1 ball and 2 strikes. To the catcher, Trey Walker. Pernica out to visit with Walker or Ropolo real quick on the mound. Here in the top of the 5th of game 1 of this area series, the best of 3 series between the A&M Consolidated Tigers and the Georgetown Eagles. Game 1 is here in Georgetown tonight. Game 2, as long as the field is playable, will be in A&M tomorrow at College Station. A&M Consolidated for Game 2 at 7 p.m. first pitch. And then Game 3, if necessary, back here at Georgetown High School on Saturday for a 2 p.m. start. Pernica back behind the plate. Ropolo comes set. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and Ropolo gets the Eagles out of the inning with the strikeout of Walker for out number 3. No runs on no hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on base after 4.5 innings. Georgetown and A&M Consolidated tied up at 1 apiece. More Eagle baseball after this on SHN.
This presentation of Georgetown Eagles playoff baseball is brought to you by Warren Law PC. Warren Law PC has served Round Rock and surrounding communities since 2001. We're proud of our community involvement, commitment to continuing education, and individualized representation. Whether you're looking for an attorney in Round Rock, an attorney in Georgetown, or an attorney in Austin, we represent clients throughout Central Texas and the North Austin, Texas metro area, including the counties of Williamson and Travis, and the cities of Austin, Round Rock, Georgetown, Cedar Park, Leander, Hutto, Taylor, and Pflugerville. Warren Law PC specializes in business law, estate planning, real estate law, and mediation services. For more information, call 512-769-3595 or check out our website at www.roundrocktexaslaw.com.
We come to the bottom of the 5th inning. Your Eagles have 1 run on 2 hits. And no errors here in the ball game. The Eagles have left 5 runners stranded. The A&M Consolidated Tigers have 1 run on 4 hits. No errors, and they have left 8 runners stranded on base. So the Eagle defense has done a good job. And now we got the crowd getting up and going. Superfan John Peters has him a sidekick now, getting this crowd going here as we go to the bottom of the 5th, all tied up at 1-1 here in this beautiful game 1 of this best of 3 series. As Nitsky finishes his warm-ups here. And to go to the bottom of the 5th. Through 4 innings, Nitsky's thrown 74 pitches, allowed 2 hits, 1 run, struck out 7, walked 3. He's hit 1 batter, and he's balked 1 time. And he'll face off against the top of the lineup for the Eagles. The 1, 2, and 3 hitters due up. Devin Peterson, Brady Peters, and Talon Ball. Devin Peterson steps in 0 for 1 on the night. Walked in back in the first inning, lined out to left field. In inning number 2, steps in here to lead off things in the bottom of the 5th for the Eagles. Nitsky from the stretch comes set. The first pitch to Devin Peterson. On the inside corner for called strike 1. 0-1 the count to the junior center fielder, Devin Peterson. Nitsky a long look in and gets a sign from Walker. The 0-1 pitch to Devin Peterson. Way outside, bounced into the left-handed hitter's batting box. Back to the backstop, 1-1 now the count. To Devin Peterson, the leadoff man in the Eagle lineup, leading off things here in the bottom of the 5th inning. 1 run in the bottom of the 2nd for Georgetown, 1 in the top of the 4th for the Tigers. Has us all squared at 1-1 as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Nitsky gets a sign and comes set in the stretch. The 1-1 pitch. Peterson fouls it back out of play for strike 2. 1-2 now the count. Peterson steps out. Takes a deep breath and back in from the right side. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He leads off here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Nitsky, senior right-hander, on for his 5th inning of work for the Tigers. Some activity down in the Consolidated bullpen. The 1-2 pitch. Peterson hits it out towards shortstop. Costa ranges over to the right. He'll throw across the diamond in time. Bang, bang play at first base, and Devin Peterson takes a tumble. Takes his time getting up there. Peterson retired 6-3 on the putout for out number 1. And in steps Brady Peters. He's 1 for 1 on the ball game. Peters walked and left stranded back in the 1st inning, singled and stranded at 3rd base in the 3rd inning. Steps in here with 1 out and the base is empty in the bottom of the 5th. Talon Ball moves on deck for the Eagles. Nitsky will come set in the stretch. The first pitch to Brady Peters. And almost hit him. Brady Peters gets out of the way, takes it up and in for ball 1. Peters back in from the right side. Nitsky will come set. The 1-0 pitch. Peters hits it down the right field line, but the line drive snagged by the first baseman, Bentz. For out number 2. L3 in the book. That'll bring up the second baseman, number 20, Mighty Mouse. Talon Ball will step in. Talon 0 for 1 in the ball game. Reached on a fielder's choice in the 1st inning. Hit by a pitch and left stranded at 2nd base in the 3rd inning. Steps in here with the bases empty and 2 outs. The Eagles trying to get something going here in the bottom of the 5th. Nitsky comes set. The first pitch to Talon Ball. Up and away, ball 1. Want to know the count to Talon Ball with Riley Leininger on deck for the Eagles. That ball by Peters is about 3 feet higher. It's down the right field line for at least 2 bases. Bentz right on the money where he was positioned. And now the 1-0 pitch to Ball. Inside for ball 2. 2-0 the count to Talon Ball. Ball back in from the right side. Nitsky. The long look in and comes set in the stretch. The 2-0 pitch. Talon Ball takes it up and away. Ball 3. Three balls and no strikes with 2 outs. Here in the bottom of the 5th, the base is empty. Talon Ball trying to get things going for the Eagles. Nitsky, the 3-0 pitch. Up and in, ball 4. So a 2-out walk gives the Eagles a base runner here in the bottom of the 5th inning. The 4th walk of the ball game for Nitsky.
Next up for Georgetown, number 21.
And in steps Riley Leininger. If anyone's due, it's this big guy right here, the big lefty hitting first baseman Riley Leininger. 0 for 2 in the night. Strikeout looking in the 1st, strikeout swinging in the 3rd. Steps in 0 for 2 on the night. Love to get things going with the big man here. 2 big triples in the Navarro series. Do a hit here as Talon Ball gets a big lead at first base. Nitsky will come set in the stretch. Throw over to first base, and Talon Ball dives back in just under the tag of Bentz. Second baseman Clayton Eli thought they had him. Hopping around expecting the out call. Talon Ball back up. Back off first base. A big lead there. Benz holds him on. Nitsky a look before he comes set. Throw over to first base, and Talon Ball easily back in at first base. Coach Durrell going to talk to the umpire there as Talon Ball was. Ben's unable to block the bag, but was at his foot in front of the bag. Talon Ball back up. Nice big lead at first base. Benz holds him on. Talon extends the lead. Nitsky comes set. Ball off and running. Walker will come up and throw down to second base, but easily in there with the stolen base. Just Talon Ball. Fourth stolen base of the night for Eagle runners. Now has a man in scoring position with 2 outs. So a called strike to Leininger. 0-1 the count to Riley with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Runner down at second base. A 2-out walk to Ball. He's still second base. Now leads off second. Nitsky will step off and get Walker to come out and go over the signs out on the mound. Good baseball being played here at Eagle Field tonight. Game 2. More good baseball between these two teams will take place tomorrow night, either 7 p.m. at A&M Consolidated, as long as the field is playable. If not, it'll be at 5 o'clock at Navasota. So watch your social medias and pay attention to that. That'll have effect all the time. We all have to get out of here and get on the road for that ball game. And so coaches will try to call that one as quick as possible, so people will have a chance to get things gathered and on the road if it has to be moved up to Navasota. But game number 1 continues here in the bottom of the 5th. 1-1 to score. Throw down to second base. Talon Ball back in there under the tag of Costa. 0-1 to count to Riley Leininger with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Speedy Talon Ball at second base. A base hit into the outfield here. Good chance to score Talon Ball to break this 1-1 tie. Leininger back ready from the left side. Nitsky comes set in the stretch. The 0-1 pitch. Leininger lays off and takes it low and inside. Ball 1. 1-1 the count to Riley Leininger. '87 pitches on the night so far for Nitsky. Activity continues in the A&M Consolidated bullpen. Nitsky will come set in the stretch. Ball leads off second base. The 1-1 pitch to Leininger. Leininger sends it down the right field line. It's a deep shot. Is it out of here? No! Caught right at the base of the wall. What a play by Hood. He gets back and grabs it for out number 3. Leininger got a hold of it as Nitsky walks off talking across the field, and the Eagles are retired here in the bottom of the 5th. No runs on no hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on after 5 complete innings. 1-1 your score. More Eagle baseball after this on SHN. And we go to the top of the 6th inning back here at Eagle Field at Georgetown High School. 1-1 still your score is Kyle Ropolo on in relief. Here closed out the top of the 5th with a beautiful strikeout of Trey Walker, and will come on here in the 6th. against the 7, 8, and 9 hitters, Kurtz, Kieschnick, and Eli. Kurtz steps in, 0 for 2 in the ball game. First pitch from Ropolo, in there for a called strike. Riley Leininger just missed, depositing that 1-1 pitch over the right field wall to take a 3-1 lead. Kai Hood got back and made the catch right at the base of the wall. Now the Tigers up. No way. He stuck his elbow out. I cannot believe they bought that one. As Kurt stuck his elbow out and got hit by the pitch, and they let him take his base. So the leadoff man aboard again for the Tigers. First hit by pitch by Ropolo, third of the ball game by Eagle pitchers. And the leadoff man down at first base in Clayton Kurtz brings up Canyon Kieschnick. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Struck out in the second. Laid down a beautiful sac bunt back in the 4th inning. Kurtz leads off first base. Leininger holds him on there. Ropolo comes set in the stretch. The first pitch and a bunt attempt down the third baseline. And Brady Peters flies in and makes the catch as Cannon Kieschnick bunted it up in the air down the third baseline. And Brady Peters makes the play for out number 1 in foul territory. P5 on that one. So that bunt attempt backfired there for the Tigers, and that brings up Clayton Eli, the number 9 hitter. As Kurtz had to return to first base, and now 1 out here in the top of the 6th with a runner at first base. Eli steps in, 0 for 2 in the ball game. Struck out in the 2nd inning. Popped out to the first baseman Leininger in the 4th. Ropolo comes set, a throw over to first base, and they got him leaning, and they did not get him. Wow. Just getting back under the tag is Kurtz. A beautiful pickoff attempt there by Ropolo. Had Kieschnick leaning and almost picked him off. Kieschnick gets his lead back. Leininger holds him on as Clayton Eli steps back in from the right side. Ropolo, a look at first base, now comes set in the stretch. The pitch and the runner's off. Strike called. The throw down in time. There we go. Caught stealing. Kurtz can head back to the dugout there. Pernicka hops that one into Eli Hellman, and what a great tag. Put a gold star on that one, baby. Eli Hellman slaps the tag on Kurtz for the first caught stealing of the night. 2-6 on that caught stealing for out number 2. What a job there by Pernicka to get it out of his glove. An 0-1 count now as that was called a strike. To throw out Kurtz and leave the bases empty now with 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. The 0-1 pitch to Eli. Breaking pitch stays just high for ball 1. 1-1 the count to Clayton Eli, the second baseman. Back in from the right side. Ropolo looks in and gets a sign from Chance Pernicka. Ropolo comes set in the stretch. The 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. 1-2 now the count to the number 9 hitter, the senior second baseman Clayton Eli. Ropolo came in with 2 outs in the top of the 5th. Walked 1 and then struck out Walker to end the inning. The 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Ropolo ends the inning the same way as strikeout to record the 3rd out of the inning for the Tigers, and they go in order thanks to the caught stealing by Chance Pernicka. No runs on no hits, no errors, and nobody left on. After 5.5 innings, Georgetown won. A&M Consolidated won. More Eagle baseball after this on
This
SHN.
presentation of Georgetown Eagles playoff baseball is brought to you by Warren Law PC. Warren Law PC has served Round Rock and surrounding communities since 2001. We're proud of our community involvement, commitment to continuing education, and individualized representation. Whether you're looking for an attorney in Round Rock, an attorney in Georgetown, or an attorney in Austin, we represent clients throughout Central Texas and the North Austin, Texas metro area, including the counties of Williamson and Travis, and the cities of Austin, Round Rock, Georgetown, Cedar Park, Leander, Hutto, Taylor, and Pflugerville. Warren Law PC specializes in business law, estate planning, real estate law, and mediation services. For more information, call 512-769-3595 or check out our website at www.roundrocktexaslaw.com.
back here for the bottom of the 6th inning. This series of playoff baseball brought to you by Warren Law PC. Back in the SHN broadcast booth, brought to you by Matt Morrow, Borrow from Morrow. For all your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow, Borrow from Morrow, proud sponsor of Eagle Sports, SHN. One of the best guys out there, Matt Morrow. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Eli Hellman due up, along with Andrew Nations and Jackson Rainey. And Nitsky on for his 6th inning of work after 87 pitches thrown through 7. It's 5, 6, and 7 hitters due up. Eli steps in 0 for 2 in the ball game. The first pitch to Hellman. It's inside it, hit him on the elbow, and Eli Hellman on board to lead off the inning on the hit by a pitch. Second batter hit by a pitch by Nitsky tonight. Has the Eagle leadoff man aboard. And in steps Andrew Nations. He's 1 for 2 on the night. Nations led off the top of the 2nd inning with a double down the right field line. Moved up to third base on a balk and was scored on a ground ball by Jacob Faltasek, the only run for the Eagles in the ball game there in the bottom of the 2nd. Struck out swinging in the 3rd inning. Steps in here with no outs and a runner at first base. In the bottom of the 6th. 1-1 ball game between your Eagles and the Tigers of A&M Consolidated. Hellman leads off first, being held on by Bentz as Nitsky looks in and gets a sign from Walker. A look at first base. Now Nitsky will come set in the stretch. Third baseman in. Hellman off and running. The pitch is high. And Walker holds on to it. Doesn't throw down, so Hellman able to steal second base. So a 1-0 count to Andrew Nations and a runner in scoring positions with no out. Here in the bottom of the 6th for the Eagles. 5th stolen base of the night for Eagle base runners. And Hellman into scoring position now with no outs. Nations back in for the left side. 1 ball and no strikes. Nitsky looks in and gets a sign. Comes set in the stretch. Takes a look back at Hellman at second base. The 1-0 pitch. Nation squares the bunt. Bunts at it, misses. Throw down behind Hellman, but he takes off and heads to third base, and he'll be thrown out. I thought he was under the tag there, and Coach Vieira is going to argue this one with the third base umpire. Walker threw down behind Hellman, and Hellman took off for third base, slid in there. And the throw over to third base, the tag applied by Hodge. And they call Hellman out at third base. So on the caught stealing there. 2-4-5 on the putout for out number 1. 1-1 the count now to Nations with 1 out, and the base is empty. The 1-1 pitch. Nations takes it high, ball 2. Two and 1 the count to Andrew Nations. Nitsky gets a sign and comes set in the stretch. The 2-1 pitch to Nations. Inside, ball 3. Three and 1 the count now to Andrew Nations, the junior left fielder. 1 of 2 base hits on the night for the Eagles. The leadoff double back in the 2nd inning by Nations came around to score the only run for the Eagles. 3-1 count now to Nations. The pitch from Nitsky. Outside. Oh, my goodness. We hear the football players from A&M Consolidated talking, showing their intelligence, yelling at Eagle players. So we apologize for anything that may offensively come across the crowd mic here. So now a full count to Andrew Nations. Here with 1 out, the base is empty in the bottom of the 6th inning. Nitsky will come set. The payoff pitch. Outside, ball 4. Nations will head down to first base again, this time get to stay on the walk issued by Nitsky, his 5th of the ball game. So a 1-out base runner for the Eagles.
Next over the Eagles, designated hitter number 11.
And here comes a visit from head coach Leonardton for the Tigers. So we'll take a short time out, see if there's any changes for A&M Consolidated. Quick break here on SHN. More Eagle Baseball after this.
This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Nathaniel Funk, your Leander, Georgetown, Edward Jones financial advisor at 1640 Highland Falls Drive, Suite 801, Leander, Texas 78641. Learn how he can help you with your financial goals. Visit edwardjones.com/Nathaniel Funk for more.
And back here for the Nathaniel Funk, Edward Jones financial advisor pitching change. Call to the bullpen. Coming in, the junior right-hander, number 15, Stryker Blevins. He'll come in to pitch for the A&M Consolidated Tigers with one out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. So that will be all for Sam Nitsky, the senior right-hander. Pitched a good game for the Consolidated Tigers. Blevins will come on here with one out and a base runner at first base. Here in the bottom of the 6th, the base runner will be charged, if he comes around to score, will be charged to Nitsky. He is responsible for him. And so Blevins will go through his warm-ups, and he will face off against Jackson Rainey. As Rainey will step in, 0 for 1 in the ball game. He walked and was left stranded. Or walked back in the 2nd inning, was cut down on a ground ball down to third base. Struck out looking back in the 4th inning. Steps in here with a base runner on and one out in the bottom of the 6th. Still tied up 1-1. This area playoff series between your Eagles and the A&M Consolidated Tigers is brought to you by Warren Law PC. Proud sponsors of Georgetown Eagle Baseball and SHN Sports. So we get to bring it to you free here live on the SHN Network. And so we appreciate Warren Law PC and their sponsorship of Eagle Baseball. As Stryker Blevins finishes up his warm-ups, Jackson Rainey, Chance Pernicka. The next two batters due up for the Eagles. 94 pitches thrown on the night by Nitsky is what I have as he exits the ball game. He threw 5 in a 3rd inning. Allowed 2 hits, struck out 7, walked 5, hit 2 batters, 1 balk. And now Stryker Blevins, the junior right-hander, will come in relief with one out and a runner at first. Andrew Nations reached on a 1-out walk. And now Jackson Rainey will step in, the junior designated hitter from the left side. Nations leads off first base, held on by Bentz. The first pitch from Blevins. A ball hit into right center field by Jackson Rainey, but it's going to hold up. The center fielder, Meadows, is going to run it down. A nice play there by Meadows. And Nations will have to return to first base. So a long fly ball for out number 2. F8 in the book to retire Rainey. And that'll bring up Chance Pernicka. Pernicka 0 for 2 in the ballgame. And no, it is going to be a pinch hitter here in the bottom of the 6th. As Coach Jordan Vieira goes to the dugout. And he will bring out the pinch hitter, and that'll be the junior, number 16, Reese Herrera. Herrera will come on to hit here in the bottom of the 6th with 2 outs and a runner at first base. Pernicka will re-enter back behind the plate. But Herrera will come to bat here in the bottom of the 6th inning with 2 outs and a runner at first base. Nations leads off first. Bentz holds him on there. Stryker Blevins, the reliever, comes set in the stretch. The first pitch to Herrera. Misses low and inside. Ball 1. 1-0 the count with Jacob Faltasek on deck. Should Herrera be able to extend the inning for the Eagles? The outfield playing straight away. Throw over to first base. Nations dives back in there. 1 ball, no strikes to Reese Herrera, the pinch hitter for the Eagles. Here in the bottom of the 6th, 2 outs and a runner at first base. Andrew Nations reached on a 1-out walk. leads off first. Blevins comes set and the 1-0 pitch as Nations takes off. It's low for ball 2. Nations will dive in, but he's out. Caught stealing for out number 3. Walker throws out the runner at third base to end the inning for the Eagles. 2-6 on the pick on the caught stealing. And the Eagles' 6 comes to an end. And after 6 complete innings, we remain tied up 1-1 as we go to the top of the 7th. The A&M Consolidated Tigers will bring up the top of the lineup. Hood, Costa, and Hodge due up against Kyle Ropolo. More Eagle baseball after this in SHN in just a moment. We're back here. We go to the top of the 7th inning. Kyle Ropolo on for his second full inning of work and relief for the Eagles. He'll face off against Kai Hood, Joaquin Costa, and Nathan Hodge. Hood steps in 0 for 3 in the ball game. Strikeout, a ground out, and a fly out. Ropolo comes set from the stretch. The first pitch is in there for a called strike. Through 1 1/3 innings pitched, Kyle Ropolo so far has thrown 11 pitches, struck out 2, walked 1, hit 1 batter. Ropolo comes set in the stretch. The 0-1 pitch to Hood. In there, called strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes to the leadoff man, Kai Hood, the right fielder. Struck out in the first, grounded out in the third, flew out in the 4th inning. Leads off the top of the 7th here for the Tigers. The 0-2 pitch from Ropolo. And a ground ball hit down the first baseline, and it is foul just to the right of the first base bag. Leininger laid out there. So Kai Hood stays alive in the at-bat. No balls and 2 strikes. He had the 13 pitch at-bat back in the top of the 4th against Nolan Jondahl before he eventually flew out to the left fielder, Andrew Nations, for out number 3. Ropolo will come set in the stretch. The 0-2 pitch. Outside, ball 1, 1-2 now the count. Joaquin Costa on deck is 1 for 1. It was walked as a single and hit by a pitch. Ropolo comes set. The 1-2 pitch to Kai Hood. And a ball hit into center field. Devin Peterson ranges to his left about 3 steps and makes the catch for out number 1. F7 in the book to retire Kai Hood. And that'll bring up Joaquin Costa, the shortstop. Walked in the 1st inning, singled and stole a base in the 3rd, and then was hit by a pitch. And back in the 5th inning, has been stranded on base every inning, every time he's reached base, but steps in here 1 for 1 on the night. Has 3 stolen bases on the night, 3 of the 5 for the Tigers. First pitch from Ropolo, swing and a miss, strike 1. 0-1 to count to Joaquin Costa with Nathan Hodge, the 3rd baseman, on deck for the Tigers here at the top of the 7th. Ropolo comes set, the 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Ropolo got nicknamed Maverick last night on the coach's show when he came up with the aviators on. Maverick out dealing on the mound here in his 3rd inning of work. Came on with 2 outs in the top of the 5th. Pitched the 6th and works now here in the 7th. The 0-2 pitch to Costa. Just misses the outside corner. Ball 1. 1-2 the count now to Joaquin Costa, the shortstop for the Tigers. Ropolo gets the sign from Pernica. The 1-2 pitch. And a ball hit down the left field line, and it's going to be pulled foul out of play by Costa. stays alive in the at-bat. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Nobody on base. A 1-1 tie. 1 run in the bottom of the 2nd for Georgetown. 1 run in the top of the 4th for the Tigers. As they continue to do battle here into the top of the 7th. Ropolo comes set, but he'll step off as Pernica signaled to him, step off, reset, let's go again. And now Costa will step back in from the right side. Ropolo will get the sign from Pernica. Comes set in the stretch. The 1-2 pitch. And a ball popped up on the left side of the infield, but it's going to curl back out of play. And Costa stays alive in the at-bat. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here in the top of the 7th, the game 1 of this area best-of-3 series between the Georgetown Eagles and the A&M Consolidated Tigers. Game 1 here tonight at Georgetown High School. Game 2 scheduled for a 7 p.m. first pitch at A&M Consolidated High School tomorrow night. And Game 3, if needed, will be back here at Georgetown at 2 p.m. on Saturday. The 1-2 pitch from Ropolo. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And Costa down for the 2nd out of the inning. And that'll bring up Nathan Hodge, 3rd strikeout for Ropolo in relief. And in steps Nathan Hodge, the 3rd baseman. He's 0 for 3 in the ballgame. 2 flyouts to left field and a flyout to right field. Steps in here. No 0 for 3 on the night with 2 outs and the base is empty. Ropolo will come set in the stretch. The first pitch to Hodge. And a ball hit down the right field line. Leidiger's going to give chase into foul territory. And what a play! Put a gold star on that one. Riley Leidiger tracks it into foul territory and makes the catch up against the fence. And the Tigers go in order here in the top of the 7th. P3 in the book for out number 3. And we go to the bottom of the 7th. The Eagles have a chance to walk this one off in the bottom of the 7th. More Eagle baseball after this on SHN.
This presentation of Georgetown Eagles playoff baseball is brought to you by Warren Law PC. Warren Law PC has served Round Rock and surrounding communities since 2001. We're proud of our community involvement, commitment to continuing education, and individualized representation. Whether you're looking for an attorney in Round Rock, an attorney in Georgetown, or an attorney in Austin, we represent clients throughout Central Texas and the North Austin, Texas metro area, including the counties of Williamson and Travis, and the cities of Austin, Round Rock, Georgetown, Cedar Park, Leander, Hutto, Taylor, and Pflugerville. Warren Law PC specializes in business law, estate planning, real estate law, and mediation services. For more information, call 512-769-3595 or check out our website at www.roundrocktexaslaw.com.
Go to the bottom of the 7th. Chance Pernica, Jacob Faltasek, and Devin Peterson do up here for the Eagles. The Eagles have a chance to walk it off here in the bottom of the 7th. Tie ball game, 1-1. Striker Blevins on for his 2nd inning of work. Came on with 2 outs. 1 out. Back in the bottom of the 6th. Faces off against Pernica here. The first pitch from Blevins, low and outside, ball 1. So Reese Herrera lost the at-bat when the caught stealing of Andrew Nations was the 3rd out of the inning, and so that erased Herrera in his at-bat, so Pernica back in. 1-0 the count. Blevins from the stretch. 1-0 pitch fouled off back out of play down the first baseline, and the count evens up at 1 ball and 1 strike to Chance Pernica. Senior catcher for your Georgetown Eagles. Here in the bottom of the 7th, Striker Blevins, the junior right-hander, works here in the bottom of the 7th for the Tigers. Comes set in the stretch. The 1-1 pitch to Pernica. And Pernica pops it up right side of the infield. The first baseman Bentz into foul territory. Back into fair territory. Makes the catch on the line for out number 1. P3 in the book to retire Pernica. And that'll bring up the right fielder, Jacob Faltasek. Faltasek 0 for 2 in the ballgame. reached on a fielder's choice back in the second inning. And the RBI on that ground out. Scored Nations from third base. And then flew out to the left fielder. Back in the fourth inning. Steps in here with one out and the base is empty in the bottom of the seventh. Blevins gets the sign from Walker and comes set in the stretch. The first pitch to Faltasek. Faltasek hits it down the left field line. It's going to fall for a one-out base hit. Faltasek around first base, and he's going to motor for second base. The throw is let go, and it's up the line away, and Jacob Faltasek, a one-out double. The Eagles are in business here in the bottom of the seventh. A great throw there from Kieschnick, but it was offline. The shortstop, Costa, let it go, and Eli had to go get it on the grass there away from second base, and Faltasek safely into second with a one-out double. A big hit for the senior right fielder, Jacob Faltasek. First hit allowed by Blevins, third hit of the ball game for the Eagles. And that brings up Devin Peterson. With one out and a runner in scoring position at second base for the Eagles. Peterson 0 for 2 in the ball game. Walked back in the first inning. Lined out to left in the second. Grounded out to the shortstop back in the fifth inning. But now a timeout, and here comes Coach Ryan Leonardton for the Tigers. And we'll take a timeout with them. One out here in the bottom of the seventh. Georgetown has a runner on second base. More Eagle baseball after this on SHN. Back here at Eagle Field in the SHN broadcast booth, brought to you by Matt Morrow and Borrow from Morrow. Visit borrowfrommorrow.com for all your mortgage needs. Matt Morrow, proud sponsor of Georgetown Eagle Baseball and SHN Sports. Striker Blevins stays in the ballgame. The first pitch to the leadoff man, Devin Peterson. But Striker Blevins will step off and reset. One out here in the bottom of the seventh. A one-out double by Jacob Faltasek down the left field line. As the Eagles' game-winning run just down at second base in scoring position with one out. Blevins comes set. The first pitch to Peterson. And it hit him. A one-out hit by pitch has runners on first and second. And truthfully, it really doesn't hurt the Tigers here. That run means absolutely nothing for Georgetown. And what it does do is it brings up a force at any base now on the infield for the Tigers. So instead of having to throw multiple pitches on a walker to battle him and giving up a possible hit, Blevins puts the runner on first base with a hit by pitch, the third of the night for Eagle batters. It has runners at first and second with one out. In steps Brady Peters. He's 1 for 2 on the night. A base hit finishes this one. Blevins, first pitch to Peters. Breaking pitch in there for a called strike. 0-1 the count to the senior third baseman. Ranger steps back in. Runners on first and second with one out. An 0-1 count to Brady. Talent ball on deck for the Eagles. Peters back in for the right side. Blevins comes set in the stretch. The 0-1 pitch. Peters sends it into right field. A shallow dropper. If it falls, it's going to win. Base hit! Base hit! Faltasek scores! The Eagles win it 2-1 in the seventh inning on a walk-off base hit by Ranger Brady Peters. Oh, baby! Georgetown wins game one 2-1. An RBI Texas leaguer into right field by Brady Peters scores Faltasek, and that's the end of the ball game. 2-1, Georgetown takes a one-game lead over the College Station Tigers as we head to game 2 tomorrow night in College Station at 7 p.m. John Peters think his blood pressure may be high, but his son walks it off. A game-winning RBI single to right field for Brady Peters. And your Eagles victorious 2-1 over the A&M Consolidated Tigers. Quick timeout. I'll go down to the field and visit with Coach Jordan Vieira. More Eagle baseball after this on SHN.
This presentation of Georgetown Eagles playoff baseball is brought to you by Warren Law PC. Warren Law PC has served Round Rock and surrounding communities since 2001. We're proud of our community involvement, commitment to continuing education, and individualized representation. Whether you're looking for an attorney in Round Rock, an attorney in Georgetown, or an attorney in Austin, we represent clients throughout Central Texas and the North Austin, Texas metro area, including the counties of Williamson and Travis, and the cities of Austin, Round Rock, Georgetown, Cedar Park, Leander, Hutto, Taylor, and Pflugerville. Warren Law PC specializes in business law, estate planning, real estate law, and mediation services. For more information, call 512-769-3595 or check out our website at www.roundrocktexaslaw.com.
The Morrow from Morrow broadcast booth is sponsored by our friend and longtime supporter Matt Morrow at borrowfrommorrow.com. Matt Morrow and his team is dedicated to providing the best mortgage experience possible by offering easy-to-use mortgage tools, including our handy mobile app, competitive rates, and assistance from a certified mortgage advisor. Matt understands the local markets, has access to a wide variety of loan programs, and is ready to guide you through the process. Your family, your future, our focus. For your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow, Borrow from Morrow. For more information, visit borrowfrommorrow.com. NMLS number 464148.
We're back here live at Eagle Field. I got Ranger with me, Brady Peters, a game-winning RBI into right field to score the winning run. A big win for you guys. It take the first game of the series. You get it on home turf. A big hit. What's going through your mind there? It looks like they hit Devin Peterson with an intentional pitch. And not saying it was intentional, but to get the bases low, the force outs, you step up and dump that one into right field to walk this off. What's going through your mind when you step in the plate?
I was just trying to stay in my approach, hit some opposite field, move the runner, and I just dropped, so, yeah.
Game-winning RBI. I think your dad almost had a heart attack. He was the fans going crazy. In a ball game like this, how big is this to get that 1-0 lead for yourself as you guys get ready to go on the road tomorrow night?
It's really big, but it doesn't really mean much. We got to go the next game, same attitude, new ball game. Let's go.
Congrats, Brady. Thanks for joining us tonight. Brady Peters, walk-off game-winning RBI in the bottom of the seventh inning to advance your Eagles to Game 2 with a 1-0 lead. And now we'll get Coach Jordan Vieira to come in and chat with us. Tell you what, a good night of baseball here at Eagle Field, a great crowd, and now as Coach Vieira joins us, tell you what, it's great baseball. A well-pitched game on both sides of the field, and you couldn't ask for more. Man, you walk into that one, and your senior third baseman comes up with a dump hit into right field. They don't ask how, they ask how many. And what a beautiful night. Walk about that win. How big is that to get Game 1 of this series?
You know, it's huge to get Game 1 against these guys. It's a really good baseball team over there. And, you know, we went back and forth all night. We threw a couple haymakers back and forth at each other and got back at it. You know, Nolan John Doe gave us a heck of a start. Man, he was in the zone a ton. He walked a couple guys early, and then he kind of settled in and was able to kind of throw really well there. But that's a really good baseball team. You know, we had a couple opportunities. We were knocking on the door, and just couldn't get the big hit when we needed to right there. And then Brady Peters comes through and says, you know, I'm tired of knocking. I'm going to kick that thing in and finish this thing. So really good night tonight for the Eagles.
Talk about that clutch hit, one out, double by Jacob Faltasek. Gets into scoring position. How key is that? You get these seniors up and down this lineup to continue to step up for this team.
Right.
A player like Faltasek to step up and then end up plating that game-winning run. Talk about that in Faltasek and his performance, just to continue to step up in that role.
Yeah, he's just a senior that's been around for a long time. He's been working really hard, and he keeps showing up and working his tail off every day. The past month or so, he started to get hot, started swinging really well for us, and had a couple of big hits tonight. He put that ball down the line, and he was not slowing down at all. And that's kind of what we expect from him, being able to be that guy and get there, and then sets it up for the next couple guys to be able to do something cool.
And Brady Peters does it in walk-off fashion. A game-winning RBI single to right field. Scores Faltasek, and the Eagles take a 2-1 victory in the bottom of the 7th to take a 1-0 series lead. Tomorrow, what do we look for just in this possible rain out or the field conditions? What do we expect, and what do we tell the fans to listen for and look for tomorrow to see what happens in this game 2?
Yeah, as of right now, not expecting anything crazy weather-wise. The report looks like it's going to be okay. We're just going to wait and see what happens. If we hear something, it'll probably be in the morning early and be able to make an adjustment from there. But as of right now, still staying at 7 o'clock at Consolidated.
Congrats, Coach, on a big win. See you tomorrow night. The Georgetown Eagles advance to a 1-0 lead in this best-of-3 series over the A&M Consolidated Tigers in walk-off fashion. Brady Peters, an RBI single into right field, scores Jacob Faltasek to win this one 2-1 over the Tigers. A great win. It puts them in a driver's seat as we go to Game 2 tomorrow night. Right now scheduled a 7 p.m. first pitch at A&M Consolidated High School. Stay tuned to social media tomorrow morning in the midday and to be ready to make an adjustment if need be. But otherwise, we'll be live on SHN no matter what. If you can't make it out, join us 6:45 pregame, 7 o'clock. First pitch is what we're going to go with as the Eagles will go to Game 2 and try to take a two-win series and get out of the area series against a tough A&M Consolidated team. Join us live on SHN. We'll have the call live tomorrow night. Thanks for joining us tonight. Your Eagles victorious 2-1 in the bottom of the 7th on a walk-off base hit to win this one over A&M Consolidated. Remember, it doesn't cost you a dime to be kind. Have a good night, everybody.